I mean, if you're going to go against
that
the Orthodox
was the
Fathers
pro
say,
God guy.
no,
This guy,
you're claiming,
the
to be an
TikTok guy.
Orthodox. You're
Do
claiming to
you
be
think you're
Orthodox.
making it? Do you think you're making a good case for your movement? Because it kind of reminds me of a What About Raymond episode where the tall guy became the coach of the basketball team, and then they got rid of him because
the Batman
he was a jerk.
joined the panel. I give up all of my worldview now because the Batman retard joined and said he doesn't agree with me.
It's a great conversion method. That's good.
I got to give it up now. The Batman retard said so.
That was the part that actually I feel like I 1/10 man over on, is that peace is the end of all matters. So, you have your belief and your faith is for you. And if you want someone else to have faith, you have to kind of leave it up to them. And there's no point of, if you want to be an example, you can be that, right? And there is preaching and teaching. That's part of the Christian religion ideology, but there's also the part of shaking the dust. And you have to make a decision at some point as to when that's a wise thing to do. I can't even tell you that. You're going to have to make that decision on your own as well.
What's up, Flo? So, in science, there's a little bit of a knowledge gap of the full explanation of germination. And I posted some scripture in the back and in the chat. God is saying that I am making the seeds grow and it's not you. So until we can fully explain germination, the burden of proof is actually on the atheist at this point, because God called his shot. He said, are you growing it or am I? And until they can figure out exactly what is causing the spark of life to germinate a dead cell / seed, then it's on you, man. That's evidence.
So you don't understand how seeds work?
I'm dealing with something in the chat, so I'm not paying close attention if you're talking at me.
Okay, but what you're saying?
So, boss man.
That would be then that would mean that like seeds just last forever because of God, but they don't. So what you're saying makes no sense.
So from what I understand, that seed reference is about life itself. Life exists. So the seed is a reference to life existing.
Yeah, but he said germination, so he's referring to an actual seed.
And also
That's right.
to back up Brick, when Christ was asked, aren't you the Son of God? He replied, aren't we all? So, maybe the whole virginic birth is kind of like a metaphor. Don't know.
Some people believe that.
Maybe what do you think when you think about virgins? You think about purity and good people, I guess. Good morals.
Good heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to bug you down or anything. I just wanted to put that on the table, let you research it on your own time thoroughly. There is no explanation for germination scientifically. And until that's found, then God is basically already called the shot. And you have to prove otherwise. So that's it for me.
Do you mean that there's no explanation as to how the seed is made or how the seed grows? Like, I'm trying to understand what you're...
It's a molecular conundrum because there's no explanation as to why the oxygen and the nitrogen and the carbon or whatever that gets in there is causing the spark of life that I think most of us have probably seen, when a baby's sperm and an egg conceive, there's like a flash of light. It's that is unexplained. And until science figures that out, then God is right.
Hey, hold on. I just asked Grok how seeds germinate. You want me to read it off for you?
Yeah, but can I say a joke first? So then your brain doesn't shoot off electrical signals when you have like touch things?
Yes, it does that as well.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that explains it.
So you're saying that two single-celled
No, we were going to listen to Grok.
pigs.
We're going to listen to Grok.
Seed germination is the process where a seed sprouts and begins to grow into a plant. It involves several key stages and requires specific conditions. Here's a concise breakdown.
Specific conditions. Yep.
Intubation, the seed absorbs water, causing it to swell and soften the seed coat, then rehydrates the dry tissue inside and activates a metabolic process. Activation of enzymes. Water triggers enzymes to break down stored nutrients like starches and proteins in the seed's endosperm, or I cannot pronounce that word. I am retarded.
I'm just
There-
curious. Why would you quote the Quran though?
That's a lot more complicated.
Bismillah rahim alhamdulillah. You caught me, my brother. I'm
Oh.
trying to spread the word of Islam on Flow State. Flow, you instead of being the Pope, you should be my imam.
Peace
No,
be
because, like,
upon him.
We can't. We really have no.
All hail the Prophet, Flow State / the Powder Dusty. Peace be upon him.
Wait, all profit? Yes, all profit. All right. So Justin, if you're not Satan, you're about to take a fall for him. And Spring Hill Jim, you're about to take a fall for him. So if you're not him, I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. If you're not him, you're still trying to get yourself on the fucking list. Anyways, go ahead, guys. David Wayne is here. Ladies and gentlemen, David Wayne.
Some dude.
No, Katie, I'm bouncing the people that I think are the sock accounts of the person I bounced. I bounced one person. I'm pretty sure he's interacting with socks. I said bouncing. Oh,
I just
bounty.
looked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm treating them all as sock accounts. So if Satan posts bond, then all the other socks can be bonded out for $5 a piece at that time. Go ahead, guys.
That's pretty cheap.
See, the only reason that I find any of this frustrating is when people say, we don't understand germination. But I think I do. And then they tell me, no, only Jesus can tell me how it works because magic, God. And then they just expect me to just not discuss it any further. Otherwise, they start calling me names. It's really weird.
Well, 10th man, if I wasn't illiterate, I could teach you how germination works.
Well, we
I've
can't
been calling
actually.
names well before this.
So we can't even create a seed for a tree. Like we just plant the seed. We get the
mean-
seed from the tree.
We
Then
know,
plant
we
it.
know the conditions. We don't know the spark of life. I'll simplify it for you. So,
No, we
but
actually
yeah,
don't.
10th man, I've been calling you names since way before now.
I mean, we don't have the ability or the scientific knowledge to create a seed. Yes, you're correct, but pretty soon we will be there.
It's
No, we
the
won't.
it's the biogenesis argument, basically.
That's ridiculous, dude. We are nowhere near.
My
a
brother in
bio-
Christ, we harness the power of the atom. Nothing is impossible. Cry
Orthodox-
about it.
that's-
God gave you a
that's-
brain and intended you to use it. If I'm
That's
speaking
full.
loud, I'm sorry.
That's speculation, though. That's still speculation, though.
Orthodox guy, you're a retard, dude. You're a fake.
I just
Just
can't
admit
read. I'm not retarded. I just can't spell very well.
Oh, just admit you're a liar, dude. Just admit it.
Then
Admit
I'm
you're
a
an
liar?
atheist.
What would that make you happy? I'm a liar.
Oh, just be honest with yourself, dude. It doesn't have. I don't care
So
what
I'm
you
lying
say.
to myself. What am I lying to myself about?
Yeah, just admit you're an atheist and quit lying to
I'm not
everybody.
an atheist. I believe in God. I pray every day.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you don't do it right. You don't pray right.
Oh,
That's the
I'm
problem.
all for doing a little crusade, and I actually have an actual sword.
Sure.
I go get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yin flow.
What are we doing? I've just been
No.
lopping accounts off down there.
No, we're going on a crusade.
This is the
Oh.
this is the atheist and smart Christian crusade against ignorance and stupidity.
Allow me to get my sword.
Look, I'll go get mine. I'll post it in the Discord. It's actually pretty cool. It's a Templar sword.
I just got big knives. It's Canada.
your big knife cannons. It's not the size; it's the motion of the ocean.
Who was claiming we're like right near abiogenesis? Who was claiming that? Like, that's ridiculous.
My brother in Christ, we're very close to creating artificial wombs.
No.
I've been saying that for 10 years.
Artificial wounds? What?
Like the thing after the vagina.
Okay, I'm like, what?
I want you to believe we're supposed to create life.
Oh.
God, everything that God did to create existence can be manipulated by us, His creation. So you can cry about it. But
Marcus Antonio, well, if you're carving it to a point, it's probably just one of those short toothbrushes anyways, so we're not worried about that.
I don't know about that ortho guy. Humans can't exist outside of the universe. And if God, according to that theology, exists outside of the universe, we can't even reach that fathom.
did you listen to what I said? I said anything God created
Mhm.
in any way He used to create the matter in this
Okay.
particular existence, we can manipulate and we can replicate based on how He created us. God created us to be inquisitive, to know how to learn how to survive. God gave us a brain, and He intended us to use it. And I'm tired of these people like ALC hating technology, hating things that have progressed humanity. That just because you like
Never claim
technology does not mean you have to hate God.
We shall
I
use
never
the alt
claimed
spark.
technology. You're such an idiot, dude. Shut your fucking mouth. Dude.
What are you gonna do if I don't? You gonna
Nothing,
talk
I'll
shit on the
just-
internet?
I'll just tell you the
I already knew that was coming.
Yeah, just gonna sit on the internet and bitch about it.
This is what I'll do. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending to be a Christian.
I'm not pretending.
Just
I am a Christian. I struggle with my faith
you're
and
not.
things that I struggle with, but I'm not.
No.
I'm not perfect. I'm not. I'm
You
not
are
Christ.
Israel. Yes.
Say you're perfect. You're like arguing with a Christian, dude. Like, just admit you're
Hey, I'm not. I'm not the first Christian to argue with a Christian, and I damn sure won't be the last.
Admit it is.
Founding fathers were Christians. Yeah.
They were.
No, he claims to
I
be
can
an
tell
Orthodox
you-
guy.
Like Christians.
Are you Orthodox guy? Orthodox guy? Are you Orthodox or not?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
Yeah, you're a fucking liar, dude. Just admit you're a lying piece of shit. Okay, just admit it, dude. It's not. It doesn't matter.
Look, man, you are completely right, Lord. I am a sinner and I am a piece of crap.
Yeah, you're a
Wouldn't-
lying piece of shit, dude.
Wouldn't
Like,
Christ pray for
Good job.
Orthodox guy and not
Yeah,
demean
wouldn't
him and
Christ-
dehumanize him?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not
that's not
trying-
very Christian.
I'm
That's not
trying
very
to
Christian.
get him to admit he's a lying piece of shit.
Don't get me
But
wrong,
do-
but like, yeah.
Do you know
Man
why
called.
I like? Do you know why I like talking to Flo about religion specifically? Because Flo's
Well,
kind of
he's
got
more
a
honest
point
with you.
about
He
religious
doesn't
people like
pretend to be
yourself.
Orthodox, dude. He
Well,
doesn't
Flo's got a
pretend to be
point about
Orthodox.
religious folks like yourself being dogmatic and saying, "Oh, I know,
He doesn't
I know,"
pretend to
as
be-
if you don't
he
need
doesn't
faith
pretend
yourself.
to be Orthodox.
You can pretend to be a
doesn't-
Rastafarian and dress like a pirate on Fridays.
I mean,
It's cool.
hold on. In all fairness, though, ALC, you're pretending to know things you don't know.
I'm not pretending to claim anything I'm not.
He's being anti-Christian for the fact he's claiming he doesn't need faith like the rest of us. He
Yeah.
knows absolutely.
Name calling isn't
It's just-
very Christian.
What was that Orthodox thing?
I get a lot of good feedback from religious people that don't even like me because I'm gay, because I point out certain things in the Bible, like Brick was doing in the chat earlier, where they're like, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense because we're supposed to love each other, not sit on the internet and scream at each other that you're praying wrong. It's disgusting.
Yes.
Jesus met people where they were.
That's it.
Jesus also prayed for his enemies,
Exactly.
called them retarded.
Come as you are.
Yeah. If you're gonna come up and be an atheist, just admit you're an atheist.
I'm not an atheist. I believe in God.
Remind me
Are
again
you-
to freak.
Are
You
you
know-
Orthodox?
Jesus was the only
That's
one
for me
without
to know
sin.
and you to
right?
find
The
out.
only non-sinner,
Just say
right?
whether you are or not. Admit you're a liar or not. Like
Zoroastrian, if you want to know the truth about it.
you're not a Christian, dude. Okay, so you've lied so many times, dude. You're a Zoroastrian. That's not Christian.
And how
You've
many
lied
times
so
did
many
Jesus
times.
say in the Bible to
Thank you
follow
for
him?
verifying what I said. You lying piece of shit.
So ALC.
Did he call
what
you
exactly-
a Zoroastrian? The frack
called
isn't a
himself
Zoro. Man, you guys just make up stuff.
He
You
called
just
himself
admitted
that.
that.
Zoroastrian
What?
that's the oldest religion, I think. Is it the oldest religion still?
Yes. Well, it's in competition. We don't know which is older,
He's
Hinduism
an
or
atheist. He's
Zoroastrianism.
an atheist LARPing as a Christian, Orthodox Christian / Zoroastrian.
Look, man, don't you talk shit on the prophet Zoroaster, right? I'll get my sword.
So hold on,
Alright.
let's hold on. Let me point something out. We're all agnostics. Some of you
How
are
about-
LARPing though.
Quit dogging on me for being an asshole for calling out this
Talking
blind
about you
Peter
being an idiot.
for what he is. He claimed he was a Christian.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I
you're
had
sort of
pants on
taking
right
out
now.
some frustration on Orthodox guy a little bit.
I'm not. Yeah,
He's
okay,
trying.
maybe.
I'm just making fun of him.
He came up
And
saying
I
he was
get
Orthodox.
it, right? I get it. I would do
said
too.
he wasn't.
It's fun. Look, fuck Orthodox guy. It's fun to talk shit on him.
That's not-
I'd
that's
kick
not
the
the point.
dog too. But
That's not the point.
we're
Flo.
all agnostics. Just some of us LARP that we're not.
That's not the point, Flo. He said
They
he
beat
wasn't
on me
Orthodox.
all the time. So
No. After I called him out that he wasn't Orthodox, he said, "Oh, well, I'm just a Christian." And I said, "No, you're not. You're a lying piece of shit." And then he was a Zoroastrian.
No.
I'm
specifically-
hold on.
You're stuck in a limbo. You're stuck in a helix. You're eating your own ass.
I'm adding Zoroastrian to my pronouns. That sounds cool as shit.
They got a badass symbol for their religion too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's not a Christian, even though he claimed he was
I'm not a
15
Christian
times.
because I know things.
You're a fucking atheist, dude. Just admit it, dude. You're an
I
atheist.
identify
I'm
the
an
king of
atheist.
everything.
You're an atheist.
I'm not an
LARPing.
atheist. I love Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my
No,
Lord and
you don't.
Savior.
No, you don't.
Is that all it takes to be a Christian?
You're lying to
Yes.
yourself, dude. That's what I'm calling you out for. It's for lying to yourself. I said that 20 minutes ago.
But how
You're
do you
lying
know
to
that?
You're the worst type of Christian. You're the
Is there-
overly aggressive
Christ-
whiner Christian.
Oh,
Is
I'm telling you the
Christianity
truth.
here to call people out?
Righteous.
So bad for telling you the
Just
truth.
praise God, man. Fucking praise God. God is so amazing. The sun, the nature, the earth, water, the way words work, the way knowledge works, the way love feels. God. Praise God, man.
Did you see Cat's comment?
So you're a Christian, Zoroastrian, Orthodox, right?
I'm also a Pastafarian and a
Ramen.
homosexual Jewish girl.
Hell yeah.
Listen, 15 minutes ago, I
Stop
said, can you
stealing my bits.
Yeah, well,
Can you just
there's more than one Jewish
No.
person.
Black
just
lesbian.
say you're an atheist and admit it? Be honest with
I'm
yourself.
also a pregnant black prostitute.
There you go.
Whore.
because that's how
You-
science works. Unlike you, I know the scientific process. Unlike you, I know how to interpret
I
data.
woke
Unlike
up-
you, I understand how the preponderance of evidence works. Me saying I'm unsure is the most fucking scientific thing I can say. You saying you are sure is the most
Do you-
unscientific
do you-
thing.
You know, it's that guy.
Why can't you do as Jesus commands and help your neighbor, love people, and pray for them when you disagree with them?
Their defense is so broken that the only thing they can do is start changing fundamental definitions of words like eternal. The only way he can come out of this, the only possible way he can come out of this, is to redefine eternal.
Pause.
I did not kick you to freak.
that is a weird statement.
Hey, can we all agree that space itself, space out there, like real space, is eternal?
No.
As far as we
Why
know.
not?
Maybe.
What is real
Okay.
space? I prefer metaphorical
Yeah.
space myself.
We can all agree that it's been explained to us it's eternal, but none of us actually know if it's fucking eternal or not, right? So we're still just adopting a paradigm.
But we don't know that it's not.
We've never been there. None of us has been to the end of space.
So it's like a man explaining life to a moth, then, right? Because a
What
moth
is?
only
Space?
lives like 2 weeks.
Sure.
We're eternal.
You kind of glitching out. So
That's what
I
he
mean, I
does.
think
He's in the back.
I think I understand what you're saying. Is what you're saying is that we can't understand such big things. And I would agree with that, which then leads me to the conclusion that anybody trying to explain something that they cannot explain is a liar, either intentionally or accidentally.
Right. A liar is knowing the truth and telling the opposite, right?
Okay, fair enough. An accidental liar then wouldn't be a liar. They would
Lie
be
by omission.
They'd be perpetuating a lie. Like ALC, for instance.
Yes.
I do not believe ALC is trying to lie to me. I do believe that he is communicating untruth, right? But I don't believe it. So sure, maybe lie is too loaded of a word, but regardless, you get what I'm saying.
I woke up
What
to
about the
you.
Orthodox girl that came up?
Let's.
Bro,
You're
get
hard to
off
focus,
my
dude.
balls. You're not pretty enough. Jesus.
No, like I told you from the beginning, you weren't Orthodox. Then you claimed to be Christian.
You told me? I thought my
Yeah,
faith was between me and God.
So
Well,
Dick,
none of the Bible said the.
Some frat.
This is all
Part of
being
the Bible
recorded.
told us to go to the
Flow
brothers.
saying
Sorry.
he talked to God, and the Bible's not real. That's what I want to touch on, right? Flow.
1 second. You two need to get it together. It doesn't
All right.
matter if okay, stop that shit. It's just kind of annoying at this point.
Okay,
All right.
well, he claimed to be Orthodox. He wasn't. I called him out on it because he denies the lineage of Mary, which was a
Why
clear
are you
sign.
scolding me?
No, just shut your mouth, dude. Shut your mouth.
No, I'm trying to give you extra like courtesy because I do appreciate that you came back for the discussion. I do appreciate that you've been, up here most of the time, but I need you guys to stop arguing about whether or not he's Orthodox. I see that you don't believe it. I understand what you're saying. It's not your call whether or not he's Orthodox.
So can I not? Okay, it's all recorded. Whatever.
You can't
is your
attack
version of
other
Orthodox
people.
the only ones that are allowed in your version of heaven?
You're just so disrespectful.
We all know only Mormons go to heaven.
There's only
yeah.
144,000. They're Jehovah's Witnesses. You don't know that?
Only
Did you run it?
144,000. So why are you trying to witness, bruh? You trying to get somebody your seat? Ain't nobody
Good
getting my
point.
seat.
And besides, everybody gets reincarnated. You didn't know that?
Well, just
Yeah.
admit you're an atheist.
Jesus wasn't incarnate. He was an old spirit in new flesh, right?
All right, you're still a little bit clippy, but you're better. I'll bring everybody back up in a second. But since your mic is kind of sus, sometimes let's do this.
Let me unplug this fucking cheap ass rig I got here, but I don't know if it's gonna clip. Yeah,
Okay.
am I good now?
You sound the same.
All right.
Okay, that was a little bit better, but just go ahead. We'll work through it.
You said you talked to God, and He said all of the Bible is wrong. Our perception of the Bible is wrong. Right.
No. What I said that he said that the whole thing was just wrong. It's not the Word of God at all. It's just another book.
Okay. Fucking
Sorry.
Flo is saved.
Sorry, you cut out for a second because I was tinkering with your mic settings. How did I get saved?
Because you talked to God, brother.
Okay.
You
Yeah, but my
talked
point
to
was just to
God.
illustrate that he wouldn't accept it from me. Why is he accepting it from somebody else? Actually, like getting a secondhand story is better than what any of us got from church, which is a third-hand story.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you read the Bible yourself and then you're back on the second hand. Look, I can mess with this without scripture. Completely, I can mess with this without scripture. But concerning scripture, I've got 2 words for you, Flo. If you really have genuine questions about scripture, you need to seek out this one dude. His name is Wes Huff, and he will help you in what we perceive as scripture today and it's interpretation versus the raw scripts. This dude, he squashed out Billy Carson here about 3 weeks ago. It was absolutely beautiful. Just
All right, so
remember, write that name down.
Oh, I'm already subscribed to him apparently.
All right, perfect. Just if you have questions, man, follow up on him.
I'm actually fairly. I will look into him because this is not the first time he's been brought up. Several people brought him up, so I'm subscribed. I've got him open another tab. I'll remember to look into him. Here's the thing: I've done it. I've gone over this topic enough times, like both on channel and just before that. I'm not unfamiliar with Christianity. I am convinced it is actually false. Like, I'm agnostic to the extent that I'm open to ideas or different possibilities. I'm almost entirely closed off to Christianity because it's got so many flaws, and I'm familiar with them.
Like Mary being a virgin,
the whole thing, the whole paradigm. For instance, God is eternal. For instance, right? God's unchanging. Yeah. Well, Christianity is itself entirely God changing. God changed. The Bible's full of stories of God changing his mind, right? He changed his mind about killing all the humans with the flood. He's not unchanging. There's things about love. He's all loving. God created everything. He created light and darkness, love and hate, right? So he can't be all loving for sure. And actually, nothing, if God created everything, then that means everything that's here is what he wants, right?
I don't think he created everything. I think it was a marble shoot. It was a marble shoot. Sample A's. Go ahead.
Okay, so you've got a view that deviates from your boilerplate Christianity.
Yeah, scripture's out. You talk to God and the Bible's wrong. That's what I showed up for here, brother.
Oh, so you don't believe in the Bible?
Yes, I do.
Oh, but, I was just kidding when I said.
I know, okay. But I want to talk about Mary and how she's a virgin and why that is significant for what would be sinless to come down into sin and indulge with us. Like, it's not impossible for a female to generate a fetus without conception. You know that, right?
I've heard people claim that weird things can happen, that theoretically it's not impossible, but there has to be some sort of nut has to enter a vagina, basically. If you met somebody in line at the grocery store and she's pregnant and she said, "I'm a virgin," you'd say, like, "Fuck, you are."
I agree. I agree.
Right. Okay, so with that in mind, what's a good reason to believe that in this case she was actually a virgin?
Convenience. Just so happened a follower of God was part of that, 1 out of 32 million or whatever the statistics was for that to be a possibility. The reason why a virgin birth is so convenient is because of the dynamics of sin, which I believe sin is virtually just primitive behavior. It's just primitive ass behavior. You want to live like an animal and act like an animal, you'll go where the animals go when they die. Scripture says that God has claimed our spirits as his. That's the dynamic. Like
I don't understand how any of this has anything to do with whether or not she got dicked.
It was convenient. She was one of those 1 out of. She didn't. All right.
What's convenient for who? Who's it convenient for?
For God to enter into a fleshly body. You've got half of the sin there. We're all born in sin. Which means we're all born as a stupid monkey. Pretty much. We're born as.
So you're saying is that I, as the child of 2 parents, my parents have twice the sin as
you do.
I
got
do.
The double whammy. Yeah.
Sins are inherited. Well, then if sins are inherited, then Jesus has sin.
He did. That's why he got baptized. And that's why after he was baptized, he was capable of walking on water, which is another dynamic that involves the spirit and denying the flesh.
Jesus was without sin.
That's the no. Yes.
That's simple.
He was the
Jesus
only
is
living
supposed to
being
be
that's
without.
ever been without sin.
This would have been after the crucifixion,
that's
is
why
when he
he
had
had
no
to-
sin.
That's
Said
why
to
he
be
had to
perfect.
sacrificed.
The second man.
Nope,
Adam.
David's right. Because if you hear the stories of when Jesus was a kid, he was not a good person.
He was a big dumb animal. Yeah.
Wait, what? You have stories about Jesus when he was a kid?
Yes, there's been many stories. Yeah.
One. It's in Luke.
Nope.
It's when he went to the
Nope.
temple. Yeah. He ran away from his parents, but he didn't really run away. He was actually
No,
in the temple. That's
Stories about when he was a carpenter. Also, I'm not just talking about, but before the crucifixion, like David said.
I want to
There's
point
only
out
one
7
coming.
cities that I saw your little comments earlier. Rightfully, you deserve to be in the inmate roster, but I am merciful, unlike God.
Merciful, he says.
All right, now that Flo is a religious figure, I think we should immediately start questioning him.
Hey, that's it. I'm done.
I'm an atheist.
Yep.
I worship Dusty.
You weren't over at Finkel and Muxter's earlier.
I just woke up like 3 minutes ago, bro. Like,
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to 7 cities in the chat.
Which means if he's a religious figure, you guys should all tithe like I did.
Perfect.
I don't even tie it to the church.
Damn it!
Man,
Now
it's
you
so
deserve
good.
it. Get him, ALC.
Well, Flo, you're one of the only 2 people I have given money to on YouTube, though.
He is the only person I've ever. No, one other person. One of 2.
We're both sluts, all right? Calm down.
Speaking of that, we're gonna do till 3:15, so 17 minutes that we have to extend the show. $1 a minute as long as you want. I'll put a banner, but
Yeah.
how come
that's-
Jesus didn't throw the first stone?
Yeah, because none of the Pharisees were sinless. He says, if anyone was sinless, then you throw the first stone.
Yeah.
so he could throw a stone according to his own
But he did.
He
command.
could set up shop and sell stones.
Yeah, but here's the context that you're like. I want to agree with y'all, but here's the context. He said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone," and he did not throw the stone.
Yeah, they brought the woman to him, and he said, "Any one of you is sinless. You throw the first stone."
But
Yeah.
he's not without sin though, so he couldn't have thrown it anyways. He was
Yeah,
until he was baptized. Until he was baptized, he was
No.
just as filthy as the rest of us.
He bent down to the sand and put his finger in the sand, just like the one who wrote
That
the
wasn't-
law with the finger in the stone for Moses. That's the whole point.
Oh, he was around when Moses was around?
So Jesus spoke with
Yeah,
Moses?
he was. Yeah,
Hmm.
he was.
Go on. Tell me more.
Remember when he said, "Before Abraham, I am"?
That was God.
Yeah, Jesus is God, right?
so you don't even know
Jesus is the Son of
Trinity.
Jesus created everything.
Oh, here we freaking go.
Jesus created everything.
Yeah,
God created everything. Jesus wasn't
From-
even.
From the Father goes
God.
the
Was
Son,
that
from the Son
Siamese
goes
Jesus?
the Holy Spirit.
Or was that regular Jesus?
do you not know that the Father created everything through the Son?
Now, are you talking about SON or SUN?
The Son, the second person of the Trinity.
Wait, so did he,
Everything.
oh my goodness, the Trinity.
So
What
the Son is referenced in Genesis.
Yes. You know, in
Yes.
Genesis 1:26, when he says, "Let us make man in our image,"
You know, Zoroastrianism's version of Christianity, you know, or Zoroastrianism in general, is much more non-convoluted than Christianity.
Hey, Orthodox, you're about to win me over with that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Well, you should because Zoroaster never considered himself like a prophet or like a holy man. He
Yeah.
just like had a vision and taught people what this God
I hope
said.
you're
And
witnessing this.
this God is like
Okay.
good. Everything that is
I hope
good comes from this God. Everything that is bad comes from their version of the devil. There is no in between.
Yeah.
And then it will.
Who created God?
Well, the thing is,
The laws of logic.
pretty much in Zoroastrianism, because Zoroaster was an ancient like a polytheistic pagan who when he created this religion, and he also even has word that like a Messiah in the far future would be born that would lead people. So like it, and not only that, like Judaism was a polytheistic style type religion before their influences in Zoroastrianism. So like those people who don't know Zoroastrianism even influenced
Zoroastrianism. One more time.
Retard. Orthodox retard Christian guy.
That's
The
not
Orthodox
real
guy.
Christian, man. ALC. Hey,
I don't
ALC.
give
Did
a shit,
Jesus
dude.
Jesus show up calling people names?
Bro, I'm not Jesus. Bro, I'm not Jesus.
But being a Christian implements acting
I
like
don't
him or
care.
trying to.
We're supposed to be Christ-like, though, aren't
Like
we?
footstep follower.
Right. You got to be Christ-like, brother.
Oh yeah, Marcus extended 50 minutes. We got 50 minutes. Thank you, Marcus. I will do some bombs at the end of the extension period. Thank you. 50's in. Okay, so ALC, I think that your agnosticism is showing, because if you really believed in the heaven and hell, then you would be working harder to not sin.
Bro, I'm telling the truth here.
I think that
you
you're
know it's the
frustrated
truth.
because I think you're frustrated. That's an obvious point.
No,
but
the fake Orthodox guy who came up as the Orthodox guy who keeps cutting me off. They all want to drown
Hey,
me
I
out.
cut you off, but why are you tunnel visioning on him, bro?
Dude, why are you
tunnel
cutting me
visioning?
off?
When you hear the sirens or anti-aircraft guns, you must get under cover at once. If you're in the open with no cover, lie down. The most important rule of all is never to stand staring at the sky. If you don't take cover, you may get hurt.
You got to talk for an hour and a half while we all listened. That's why people have things to say.
Yeah, well, they're all lying to you, Flo. They all keep cutting me off. They're all lying about Jesus Christ. They all claim to be Christian, claim to be Orthodox, and they're
What
all.
was that stuff about pride and ego?
I don't
Oh, the
give a
seven
shit
deadly
about
sins. That's
I'm
right.
telling you the truth.
When you hear the sirens or anti-aircraft guns, you must get under cover at once. If you're in the open with no cover, lie down. The most important rule of all is never to stand staring at the sky. If you don't take cover, you may get hurt.
I will forego ego to tell you all the truth. They're all lying. They're lying.
You saying you're
Sorry.
foregoing ego? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I will denigrate
You're not.
them. Yes, I am. I am.
How is this not explicitly indulging in ego?
To tell you the truth. I'm telling you, Flo, that they are lying to you about them being pious Christians. They're not. They're lying to you, dude.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not
no.
honest.
You know what? I'll form my own opinions, but I do kind of low key believe. Like, I don't believe Uncle Fatty is a Christian. I believe that he mocks religion. I'm on the fence about whether or not Orthodox guy is Orthodox. But ultimately, I'm not sure that I care because I'm not Christian.
He's claimed he's Zoroastrian. Like he's an atheist, dude. Like
Yeah, he might be, but that's all right. Uncle Fatty, you look disturbed by my perspective.
Well, I mean,
Also, I'm kind of wondering if I'm part of the they that you speak of, because I don't claim to be a Christian.
I do.
I do know what a Christian is, and I know what a footstep follower of Jesus is.
Yeah, I'm not a Christian.
Oh, and thank
But-
you to Harmon who sent over a Cash App earlier, and I missed it. Thank you, Harmon. Luckily he said no clip.
I'll be an asshole to tell you the truth. I don't care.
Hey, and you know what, Marcus? I'm okay. I'm not tired. I'm good to keep going as long. So like, don't worry about that. If more money comes in, more money, more time. It's not like last night where it's like, oh, I gotta go to bed. For last stream.
It's killing me because the
away.
conversation's awesome, but I'm just sitting here going, just be nice, 10th. Just be nice.
Raise hell, 10th. Raise hell. Tell us what you think.
I don't think it's well. This guy sounds like my grandmother, right? Who was like a nasty, nasty woman that threw things at people when they said that she was being disrespectful because she's just insane. And then also talking about God and how everybody had to do what she thinks God thinks that they should do all the time, but she's actually evil. And that's what we're seeing here. And he's saying, oh, everybody's lying to you. But I see David. I know David a little bit from chat, right? And he's a very pious and nice man. And he's coming up here like very respectfully. And you're kind of disrespecting him. And it's weird because you're evil. ALC is evil. He's an evil person.
Become vengeance.
Become
wrath.
I believe
ALC,
that he's acting out some evil things, but he himself, I don't believe, is evil.
Man, none of y'all are evil. Some of you are lame. Some of you are retarded. But like,
right.
You know, a man
but I mean,
God-
to 10th man's anecdotal point, like anecdotally, my grandma, who is also very Christian, is the only bitch who sent me a letter in jail going, why did you turn out like this? If you read the Bible more like I told you to when you were a kid, you wouldn't be in jail.
No, man.
Exactly.
I was in the Bible. I was in the Bible my whole life, and I've been to jail. So
Yeah, I've also been to jail. So like being
You're beating people with a stick and then telling them to love the stick. It's disgusting.
Well, I mean, sadomasochism is a
Log
thing.
off, bro.
It's kind of hot.
Some people.
Dead man, log off.
I
Dead
mean,
man,
your,
log
your
off.
God is a math.
Log
say
off, 10th man.
Do my words hurt?
ALC. So I'm the one who said that I don't believe that, or I don't claim to be a Christian. But what if I told you that I do believe Christ is king? Would you call me a Christian?
It would depend. Like you would have to demonstrate that, and not
that's all.
see.
He just demonstrated it. Christ is king. He just demonstrated it. That's
Someone
all it
just-
takes.
Oh, someone just cut him off, and me. Who was that?
No, I like David's answer, but I do want to hear your version of that. What would stop me from being a Christian in your mind, even though I believe Christ is king?
Okay, it's
I can't wait to get my dick wet.
Degen Panel says Oxycat.
I'm not a degenerate. I just went to
Yes,
jail.
you are. Everybody's a degenerate, or they're a degenerate and a liar because they're in denial.
Dirty.
I'm a degenerate.
10th man is the most degenerate because he degenerates both ways.
I'm a generate. I generate things.
Mm.
Gyrate. Oops, I said that.
It's just what is the reason for ALC's rage and what's like, do you see it as like you're trying to save people's souls, so your way to do it is to be angry about it? Like I'm confused.
He wasn't hugged enough as a child.
Jesus needs his help to make sure that we're all saved.
He's Jesus's top guy, man.
Bro,
what y'all don't understand? What y'all don't understand? He actually is God. Okay.
But here's the
He's trying to
interesting
show you.
paradigm. If you believe that God is all powerful and all knowing and created everything, that also means nothing could exist and that God did not want to exist. So then everything's perfect. If you actually believe in God and he actually has these attributes that Christians ascribe to him, everything's perfect and you don't need to worry about shit.
That kind of goes against free will, though. God did give us free will.
What
And
is
man,
free will? Like, this is the thing. Hold on. I don't want to get in a free will discussion because I hate it's like mental masturbation to the max. But free will, depending on who you ask, like, I mean, people just have all sorts of different things. Hank thinks he doesn't have free will because he can't stretch himself to be 10 feet tall. That's retarded.
I'm kind of like that.
I'm going to keep it simple. I think free will is your ability to choose what to do and how to react.
Right. In
Okay.
philosophy, that is the definition.
So,
yeah.
Right. So,
But-
regardless, I mean, what I'm saying is, okay, we're going to do it anyways then. Free will, that concept, free will is only so free. So if you're creating humans from scratch, how much freedom do you give their will? Because we don't actually have entirely free will. Hank can't grow to be 10 feet tall, but we've got free will within the paradigm we're given. The paradigm we're given does include hell, right?
Yeah.
So free
okay.
will is subjective.
There's going to be natural limitations to what you can do. But
Yeah, and
your
God
actions,
created
your
those
action-
limitations, and God created those limitations. So you don't actually have free will because there are limitations that exist.
Well, he created a paradigm for us to live within and gave us free will within the parameters. It's understandable.
because-
You're scientific.
Sure,
You know,
in
you know,
which
you know.
case, free will would completely undermine sin. It would negate sin. It would nullify
Exactly. Yes.
because
Yes.
Nah,
it's a natural thing.
nah.
Yes.
No, it
Nah.
wouldn't,
According to
because-
the paradigm.
Well, God watches
Because-
you masturbate, okay, so that he can judge
Twice.
you upon your strength of masturbation.
Correct.
I mean, first-
I think the judging is more about what you're watching. That's what.
No, it's about how hard you go.
That's what I would judge you for.
See, God,
Yeah.
God is like, oh, 2 men, wrong. 2 women, that's not.
Yeah, and like, really, I'm judging you the most if you're watching like bukkake or something. Like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? That's revolting.
cocky.
We're still stuck within
Oh,
like
Lord.
the parameters of being a monkey. Like we're still
Arctic Cat
stuck in
definitely
that.
got her wish.
Okay, but if I
God can't-
masturbate with a banana washer, which means that a machine's doing it, is it wrong?
Do you know that I didn't know what a banana washer was until you brought it up the other day? You taught me.
I like to
something new.
teach people.
I still don't
I'm
know
telling
what
you,
it is.
Flo, because the one that I have, right? Well, I have 2. They're matching, so you can have 2 batteries.
would just
One
lose.
can charge. One can charge while you're using
ALC
the other one, and then you
dip.
just switch the other parts over.
Did he just
Right? So hold on. I'm almost done. So the greatest thing about it is that it's also like a stretcher, right? But it doesn't have that much suction. But because of that, it's like having it sucks it out of you, right? It doesn't just do its job, but it sucks it out.
I don't like any of those words you were using or the placement of them. I just don't like anything you just said. But I think we found out why he's so angry. He's got to be sexually repressed.
He needs a
That's-
banana wash.
We've
Yeah.
got 1 minute. This is the 1 minute warning. We have 1 minute. Actually, I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes because I forgot to do a little warning. 3 minutes. You have till 17. We have 3 minutes to get in the final extensions. So far, we've got 110 minutes. That's just under 2 more
What?
hours. We'll go.
And you're not going to extend it again any further after that? The cutoff is now?
Yeah. This is how I do things.
Oh,
If
okay.
you- Yeah. The extension time is now. I mean, I have done a second extension round before. I don't
Yeah, I
anticipate
don't care what you do.
second extension one right now.
Flo, how many times have you discussed the topic of what is God?
Like a bazillion.
Okay. I'd be interested in knowing the best things you've heard, but like not now. I'm sure the topic's getting kind of sore.
So's
Pause.
never mind.
Topical.
Nah, do it.
What was you saying, 10th man? I'm learning. Like, how long do these batteries last? that you have to let one
It
charge.
depends on the
Well-
it depends on the
Can you
settings
hot
that you
swap
use.
'em? Can you hot
Yes, that's
swap
what I
'em
was saying.
mid-stroke?
Yeah. And you can just switch out the internal mechanisms, and then you can conserve lube as well.
Yeah, put it on mild. Put it on mild vibrate, not extreme.
That is wild.
Oh,
Was that on
man.
mild vibrate? Was that on mild vibrate flow?
What happened?
That subliminal messaging there.
He just
Some of y'all
ruined
don't.
my experience.
All right. Well, welcome, welcome, undocumented. Same rules apply as always. I assume that you know that, and we don't need to go through this every time. And Frank, welcome. Frank, I saw you. I think you were over at Sarah's earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, I was briefly on that panel.
Right on.
It was a fun show.
Can I just get
I'm not a huge comic book guy, but yeah, it's cool to check out Sarah's stuff.
Yeah, I'm not either. It was a little bit far into the nerdy muck for me, but
yeah.
Hey, Dusty, I'm a nice fucking guy. I'm not trying to be an asshole.
The liberal.
I know. But look, I don't care. I like you. I like
These are
you.
ground rules, then I'll fucking abide.
Okay, the ground rules are: I don't want any racial comments out of you at all.
Okay. There. That's all you need to say, dude. That's it.
That is not true. That is not
Yeah,
true.
it didn't work.
Been
Yeah,
said
yeah.
over and over again.
Man, if I don't break the rules, it's not that hard, guys. Get up.
It's pretty standard YouTube stuff.
Yep. It's standard YouTube stuff. All right. All right. So we got 2 hours. So we're going till 5:07 a.m. till 5:07 a.m.
Good Lord. I hope you're not expecting me to entertain them.
Your clock's
man.
going to be wrong from the power outage because it's
What do you mean? He's not expecting
5:17.
that? It's your.
Oh shit, we
Who
lost
was he
Dusty.
yelling
Oh,
at?
this is this the degen? Is this the degen panel for Oxycat with no house daddy?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you got a felony? I mean, come on.
Not anymore.
Yeah. It was dry.
I got a Melanie. I got a Melanie. Ooh, ooh.
I
don't have one yet.
I got an assault weapons charge, so I think I'm
And I'm drier than the fiery pits of hell.
Frank, let me ask you a question. Oh, Frank Quaxtel, it's Duck.
What's up?
Dance monkeys. That's Uncle Fatty. You go first.
Yeah, I take offense to that because she didn't define which type of monkeys. It wasn't like, which type of monkeys you talking about, dude?
Which type of monkeys are the options?
Just like ground monkeys and tree monkeys.
Now make that booty work, twerk. 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 Now make that booty work, twerk. 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 Make that booty work, baby. It's just like you doing squats. Hit the flow, make it drop. Firecracker, make it pop. Got the ballers throwing guap. She can go and don't stop, but she took it up a notch. Started coming.
Extremely disturbing.
That won the show.
That's extremely disturbing.
Why y'all hating? It's 2025. All right, a man can be what he wants to be.
That clip is growing on me.
You mean you're growing on that clip?
Hold on. What about this?
Stop
one?
fagging out.
Hey, Flow State, did you know about the difference between tree monkey?
Oh goodness.
It's a legitimate scientific thing.
What is the difference?
It's long fingers. Tree monkeys, they're not able to make a square fist. So whenever they punch something else in the face, they break their knuckles.
Really?
Yeah. So they don't have a square fist. Whereas ground monkeys have developed short fingers, and they can actually make a square fist. So when they defend themselves by making a fist, they don't break their fingers.
Yeah, but traditionally, I've always heard that like a lot of the chimps and great apes are like their entire body's a freaking weapon. Like,
well, that's
just
entirely true.
They're always eating bamboo and
I
shit.
do not deny that. I do not deny that. but I'm talking about purely about the hand thing. The hand.
It's a lot of fiber.
The long fingers between tree.
Have you guys heard the pandas don't exist theory?
No.
Yes.
No, but I don't believe they exist.
I think I heard it.
I don't believe.
What's in
Animal
your
that will
mouth?
not-
I believe in
You don't want
pandas.
to know. You don't want to know.
No, what he's saying is they don't exist, as in they're like completely fucking like.
Any animal that will
There's
not
no
reproduce,
natural
that
sex
can't be
between
real.
the group. They don't exist.
Spotted
without
bear.
So you're
Black
saying
and
though,
white
like
bears.
lemmings, that they were that they never that they were invented, like a lemming.
I'm not
Hold
saying.
on, I'll pull something up here real quick. I am curious to know though, before I taint the well, why do you think pandas don't exist?
I'll say this: pandas should. I'll say this: pandas shouldn't exist because the mothers literally hate their own children and don't feed their own cubs, and they only eat fucking bamboo, which in certain areas is a limited resource, and it's an anomaly that they even fucking exist at all, because the amount of bamboo per fucking area where they exist is so minimal.
If it's a bear,
Okay,
it's a meat
okay,
eater.
but I gotta ask, don't you think there's got to be at least one zoologist somewhere in the world, and like what that guy does is, the guy, girl, whatever the fuck it is,
Mothers
he studies
don't
pandas.
Take care of their child. Panda mothers don't take care of their child.
Well, a third of women don't take care of their children.
That's okay.
I say that pandas don't exist because I can't remember what I saw, but there was some type of weird thing in like the 40s or 50s where China got jealous of America's zoos, so they made up some animals and stuff that didn't exist, like Barnum and Bailey's circus with the mermaids and crap.
So when you say
that was gay people.
that they don't exist, do they not exist now because they're extinct, or like they never existed?
Never did.
Okay.
No, they invented them like the lemmings. See, so the lemmings were just gophers.
Pandas aren't real. And the way this is going around social media, people are totally losing their minds. In this episode, I'm going to address the viral claim that pandas aren't real. And we'll see for ourselves. Ramen Rider had a video go viral on TikTok where he talked about the panda conspiracy. A conspiracy.
It's not a biological question. It's
They've been lying to you about
it's a
animals.
philosophical
This
question.
is called a fake animal.
But what if it's not just a conspiracy theory? What if up until very recently, pandas weren't real at all? Were they bred? Were they genetic experiments in a weird 1800s Frankenlab? Are they people in costumes? In fact, when I started digging into this, it started going so deep, I couldn't believe what I found. Pandas' anatomies make absolutely no sense.
so
Pandas are
deep.
completely missing ancient Chinese art and culture, and pandas are so valuable today that they're used as political bargaining chips by the Chinese government. Honestly, we have to get to the bottom of where these things come from, and a combo of science, history, and spirituality might just give us the holistic picture that'll solve this panda puzzle.
Hey, Flo State, can I add a little? Can I add a little something?
To add a little something. Yeah, let's
Pandas would not exist without human help. That's basically the fucking nut. Okay.
So, are you saying there are humans that have sex with pandas and that's how they
No,
breed?
I'm saying humans facilitate the fucking speciation of pandas.
Let me do the fair use. This is all fair use. We are reviewing this video for fair use purposes and shit. I just dropped the link in the chat to the original video. All the fair use and fair use.
If they're robots, then it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying if someone's saying that you could coitus with them while if they're robots, that wouldn't be wrong.
Well, humans are supposed to be stewards of the earth, so I mean, like most animals would not be as prosperous as they are without humans.
It's not even like that, dude. Pandas wouldn't exist without humans.
So you're saying that pandas could have been bred?
Well, where did
No,
Kung
I'm
Fu
saying
come from
pan-
then?
I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm saying the exact opposite. Pandas would have gone extinct without humans.
Well, so would a Shih Tzu.
Yeah, but by the logic already set forth that they don't take care of their children, they wouldn't exist anyways because babies would just die.
Yeah, but so would a Shih Tzu.
I just made that point, dude. You're reiterating.
We all know how to defeat Kung Fu, right? Some lingerie and a belt in a closet.
All right, guys, let's get back to the pandas.
Birds aren't real.
Oh, stop.
So
Birds
you're
are
telling me
fucking
in over
dinosaurs.
4,000 years
Birds
of
are
Chinese
fucking
history,
lizards.
they've
Birds are not dinosaurs. That's some nonsense that
Birds are
Jurassic Park propagandized y'all to believe in evolution, which is nonsense as well. But we're not getting into that right now.
Okay, let's.
Wait a minute, Flo. Are you being for real?
Oh yeah.
You got to tell me sometime.
I want a piece of that, Dusty. I want a piece of that. So.
All right, you guys can get a piece of this dick.
I'll show you the other.
Oh, thank you.
Wait,
No.
isn't it sort of fucked up that they like bro used an AI panda? There are pictures of pandas in the real world. I don't know why he didn't just post a fucking. He had
All
to
right.
go with the. Oh, this is
All right, guys,
ChatGPT
let's pipe
panda.
down. We got to watch this and figure out if pandas are real.
Okay, I dug into this, but first, a quick reminder to like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any updates or content drops. All your support lets us keep making this content, so thanks a lot for watching. The earliest official record of a panda existing at all is in 1869. Let me put this into context for you because that was really recently in the history of the Earth. 1869 is the year margarine was patented. The first woman ever testified before the U.S. Congress. The Suez Canal was created. Jesse James robbed his first bank. Goldman Sachs was founded in New York. Campbell Soup and Heinz were founded. Rasputin, Gandhi, and Neville Chamberlain were born. And that's only 100 years before we went to the moon. So when I tell you the earliest record of a panda was from 1869, that is really recent, only 155 years ago. A French priest and naturalist named Armand David was visiting China that year. He'd already sent back specimens of other animals to the Natural History Museum in Paris, but in April of 1869, his hired hunters brought him the skin of a strange black and white bear. He wrote at the time, quote, "I have not seen this species in the museums of Europe, and it is easily the most pretty I have come across. Perhaps it will turn out to be new to science." As of 2014, this same bear that David was presented with now lies somewhere in a subterranean vault beneath the museum with the remains of millions of other dead animals. Nice. You'd think that if soon after this discovery they'd found out this creature was already fairly well known and popular in China, pandas wouldn't receive so much hype. But oh man, the hype only grew. I'll get back to the international obsession people today have with the panda and how it's used as a political bargaining tool. But first,
bro, even in the Chinese zodiac, they have a dragon. Dragons are real, but pandas aren't.
Sorry.
Any thoughts on pandas not existing in history until whenever?
So, because a European,
I think they just lived on the
never
moon
saw it.
until the late 1800s.
So a European never saw an animal that exists in China. So all of a sudden now it never existed.
Yeah, I'll let every European man pontificate before I speak.
Have you ever seen red panda?
Are those actually pandas?
I don't know. They don't look real either. And so the documentary I saw, or whatever it was, said that because they were jealous of American zoos and it creating a culture, and they always want to be the ones that are the culture ones, right? That they invented these somehow. I think it was the same way as you breed dogs.
Can I give you a simile? Can I give you a simile to the panda?
Bestow us with your simile. Hey, could you sell like a millionth of a Bitcoin and buy yourself a better mic sometime?
I could. I'm sorry. It's not close to my face. I apologize. I'll give you a better simile than the panda. The platypus.
Okay.
The platypus didn't exist until somebody fucking found it. And it literally,
Yeah, but when was that?
the platypus literally is a mammal that lays eggs.
But have you ever seen one?
So's your mom.
Many people have seen one.
No, in like real life?
I've personally never seen one, but they exist.
So how do you know?
Because I'm not a retard.
Oh,
We observe the
well.
observations of others.
Go.
The guy who says he's not a retard. Is there a possibility that there are buildings covered by ice in Antarctica from previous civilization?
Absolutely not.
See, then disingenuous.
No, well then give me one example. Give me one example.
Is it possible? He said, "Is it possible?"
Is it
The trick was in the
possible?
question.
Is it possible? I mean,
Man,
sure, it's possible. I mean,
welcome, Bumpkin, to the panda discussion. Where do you stand on pandas? Do
I
you
don't
stand
know,
on
man.
pandas?
I'm eating a 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. PB&J.
hey, Pumpkin, I'm going to give you
I just ate a
good
huge
hug
sigh.
to my fellow white man. I want to give a good hug to my fellow white man. What's up, bro?
And there you go.
Yep.
Butter will give you
He
indigestion.
promised. He
Oh.
promised.
Damn. I was gonna call him Italian. Just joking, buddy. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We had a deal earlier. He said just lay the ground rules out and I'll abide by them. And I said no racial comments at all. And
But what's not racial?
he crashed out.
It's okay. These things
So
happen.
peanut butter and jelly is a good midnight snack. I eat those frequently. But anyways,
Yeah, there's honestly they're not that unhealthy for you either. Fun fact compared to
well,
the
that just isn't probably true.
I mean,
I'll go through. I go
Does anyone know
through.
if PB&Js are legal in China, or are they part of the big platypus, big panda conspiracy triangle?
Okay, but seriously though, guys, come on. I mean, maybe if they weren't real, they'd be like maybe they're like animatronic, maybe. But there ain't no way they got people in suits. There ain't no way they got people in suits.
No, he means they bred them. Well, that's what I saw. That they bred them. They weren't a real thing.
So you think that Asian people fucking pandas?
Yeah,
no,
sure.
He means like a liger type.
I get
Like
it.
a
I
liger
get it.
type
I get it. I get it. All right, we're carrying on. We're carrying on.
Just look at the Chinese zodiac. There's a rat, monkey, rooster, pig, honestly, a wide variety of animals, but no panda bears. Let me repeat, no panda bears in the zodiac when they have a freaking dragon, which supposedly doesn't exist. Wait, what? The panda is the most popular animal in the entire Eastern world today, and it's missing. For the other countries of the world in modern times, the panda is associated with China maybe more than the dragon is. And the dragon has such an extensive history in China, it was once on the country's flag. But when I asked some Chinese friends of mine some questions on the topic, I found out that bears are really not a big part of Chinese culture at all. But that's not even the craziest thing. Now, how about we go further back into history to the ancient Chinese art? Because surely someone must have documented these animals in ancient paintings somewhere. But again, no pandas. No ancient paintings of pandas, only recent ones from the last 100 plus years. Do you think that's weird? You should. The Chinese culture is 5,000 years old. This alone has made so many people think that pandas aren't real. How about some of the most ancient things we know about in Chinese culture, like Buddhist, Taoist, and spiritual practices? I mean, there are martial arts based on the crane and the snake and even the praying mantis. Even in Tibet, they have the Yeti sculpted on their temples. You're telling me they recognize Yetis or Bigfoot in China, but there's no art of pandas at all anywhere? What in the love of God is going on here? Now, this is where things got even stranger for me. I was thinking about it, and this lack of history actually makes no sense at all. If a bunch of spiritual men who were becoming vegetarians, seeking enlightenment, and letting go of attachments, Buddhists, knew that a vegetarian panda bear existed who only eats bamboo, sleeps, doesn't hurt anybody, is so innocent and clumsy it can barely get by, doesn't know how to have sex, and looks like a giant cuddly toy, if they knew that existed, there would be meditation forms modeled around them. There would be art drawn about them. They'd be up on temples, and probably there would be some weird cult today worshiping them. Some of the arguments are insane. Quote, the giant panda is not an animal of prominent ancient symbolic importance in China. It is not found on ancient metallurgy or pottery, nor does it have a conspicuous presence in Tang poetry or song paintings, Yuan plays, Ming novellas, or Qing porcelain. While the phoenix, the tiger, the crane, and even the cicada and cricket hold prominent places in Chinese cultural history, the giant panda, unlike these animals, does not conjure up metaphorical meanings. You're telling me the panda doesn't conjure up metaphorical meanings? Talk about the definition of defense.
How did it take them 60 years to catch a panda?
I don't have any idea. I don't.
Literally the definition of dumb luck.
And I think I saw
no joke,
Frank
pandas have,
Monday
like, the
down
third
there.
strongest bite
Oh yeah,
force.
that was Frank Monday's comment. Frank lives in China, if I remember correctly. Frank, don't you live in China? Have you ever seen a panda in the wild?
Brother is scaling the Great Firewall right now.
A group of pandas is called an embarrassment. I'm not sure if this is true or if this is a
That's really mean, bro.
Fenceless and cute. Just look at these things.
Look at this picture. That's a stuffed
It's
animal.
true.
But
Just
they
double
make you
check
think
it
it's
with
real.
Google.
Okay, some people claim pandas aren't real at all because of this weirdness. Another accusation is that ancient Chinese people thought pandas were monsters. But that's either saying Chinese people were stupid, which is definitely not true, or that they were just superstitious. Some researchers think that the ancient Chinese tapir was actually a panda because it's described as a black and white herbivore that resembles a pig. That
Yep.
creature tore
A
dates to
grumple
shreds
of
and was
pugs or
no
an
panda
embarrassment of
bears during that time.
pandas.
Pretty sure the
Yep.
Chinese, who have the oldest culture on the planet, could have figured out how to describe a harmless panda more accurately than that. Another strange panda fact, they're one of the only animals that contemporary Chinese people will not eat. But is that just because they're a national patriotic symbol these days or because of something deeper? There's a story of a Chinese farmer who in 1983 accidentally snared a panda in Sichuan province while he was trying to trap musk deer and wild pigs. In order to hide the evidence, he chopped it up and stir-fried the meat with turnips. But but the meat was so disgusting it was inedible. And that's saying something for a Sichuan chef. They can make anything taste good. And this was inedible. He was caught by the court, and the man was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Strangely, this story may explain how pandas defend themselves in the wild from predators. They taste like But back up. How did the panda gain so much international fame if there are so few of them? They were talked about in history. They're not good to eat, and they're not a threat.
They use everything they can to make you believe pandas are real, and they get so much funding for it.
Well, the panda became the poster child for conservation efforts in 1961. When the U.S. refused to let any pandas into the country, one was sent to a zoo in London. Well, wouldn't you know it, that's where the World Wildlife Fund was getting set up. What animal should we put on our logo to represent the innocence of animals we need to protect? Boom, WWF panda logo. But that brings us to another interesting point. Why the heck did the U.S. turn away a panda? Well, in the wake of the Chinese Communist Party taking over China and creating a major threat to world peace, the United States had very strict rules about dealing with them. They didn't want any commie infiltration from either the Soviets or the Chinese, for one, so any kind of trade with them was pretty much barred for the U.S., including our cute cuddly pandas. On the CIA website, I found a surprising document with a whole lot of redactions talking about panda trade in 1958. Someone was having trouble getting permission to bring a giant panda to the U.S., so they went and they talked to Alan Dulles, the director of Central Intelligence and the head of CIA during the Cold War. Well, Dulles talked to the Treasury Department, who denied the panda importation license. Why? Because, quote, it would constitute a serious departure from the basic policies underlying the foreign assets control. Exceptions have been made to the foreign assets control policy only where some significant security or comparable national
He was showing us some foreign assets.
What happened?
You know, I saw what you did there. I saw what happened.
So just the U.S. was like really pushing China to completely stay isolationist too at that time. So like, no offense, but you know, this could also just be like, yo, don't you know, if we do happen to end up next to you, don't do anything.
You better be careful with that skepticism, or else we'll have ducks not being real next. Yes, no, that's what's being alleged. Pandas are possibly fake. Anyways, carry on.
I mean, I feel like I don't think that they're fake. Now, I think they're a living creature. But now saying that they didn't exist naturally, that there's something that was hybrid together, that would make a lot more sense. Yeah.
Do lemmings exist?
Lemons don't exist. We created lemons.
Right, but a lot of people thought they did for a very long time.
This is true. This is true. Our modern day interpretation of bananas do not exist in the wild either.
Well, what I find fascinating about it too is that the same type of people that would believe in evolution will say that if it didn't exist before, it can't possibly be existing now. But that's literally counterintuitive to evolution on its face.
I don't know if counterintuitive was the right word to use there, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we humans have done evolution. We turned wolves into dogs. We have done it real time.
Microevolution.
I believe in Sasquatch.
That's a stretch of the word doing it, but I think that's
using the hope you got all that. Okay, maybe you're thinking that sounds a bit extreme or ridiculous. How could it be a big deal to let a panda into the country? Well, this was the start of some major commodifying of the panda bear. This is what everything was building to. The panda bear being used as a sneaky political bargaining chip, which we'll get into in a moment and will blow your mind.
Because right now, I need to talk about the panel occasion. I don't know where he's at tonight.
Pandas do not exist. They don't exist in people's homes. They don't exist in the wild, but they do exist in the zoo.
Okay, let's see if any of this could be true, because this is actually super weird. There are under 2,500 pandas in the entire world. Some people say there are no pandas being photographed at all in the wild and they don't exist there. But I do have to say, there have been videos that have come out. It's kind of up to you to judge whether or not they're legit. The Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute says there are only 1,864 giant pandas in their native habitat, and only 600 more in zoos or breeding centers around the world. And these things are valuable. One source I found said that on the black market, panda fur is worth $60,000 to $100,000. On the mainstream market, meanwhile, the Chinese government is no longer giving out pandas as gifts, but is leasing them for $1 million a year per panda.
Species like that.
For $100,000, you goddamn right.
Yo, you tell me I can buy a panda?
For just the fur, a panda fur is $100,000. You're telling me somebody's like, hey, bro, I know that you've got 3 pandas. Will you sell me their fur for $300,000? Then you could sell the other shit too. You know that's just worth money in Chinese medicine and stuff. Like you could probably get $1 million a panda.
Yeah, but like, what if it wasn't furs? What if they just sold me like the alive panda and he just chilled in my apartment?
Then that means that you would have to just do a little bit of cutting.
No, I want him to be alive, bro. I want to chill with the panda. Panda chill in my apartment. I feed him bamboo.
How are you gonna get that much bamboo to feed that panda?
I'll grow it. I don't know, bro. I'll find a way.
But again, more about the pay to play later.
You're telling me this animal only eats one thing. It can only eat, and it only mates one time a year. Bro, this is the fakest animal you'll ever discover. Even faker than dinosaurs.
Okay, let's avoid the dinosaur conversation. We don't need a holy war in the comments. But it's true. Pandas have the weirdest diet I've ever heard of. And I mostly eat nachos and barbecue ribs. Check this out. Pandas eat almost exclusively bamboo. But a panda's digestive system is actually more similar to a carnivore than to an herbivore. So almost all of what they eat becomes waste. And they excrete a huge amount of times per day. This is the weirdest diet in the animal kingdom. So weird, in fact, that people are using this as the smoking gun as to why pandas aren't real. How is this even possible? Pandas have to eat 70 to 100 pounds of bamboo each day to get their nutrients. So it takes them 10 to 16 hours of foraging and eating to even make up that calorie load. That's like me eating exclusively celery all day, every day, when my body is just craving a steak. Back to their weird bodies. Did you know that pandas urinate upside down? Yeah, they're the only commonly known animal that does that, save for maybe certain bats, but they sleep upside down. Pandas also have night vision. In fact, pandas' eyes are super weird. Their pupils are teardrop or slit-shaped. In fact, the Chinese call pandas bear cats because their eyes are so similar to cats. It's important to know here that these are the only bears that have pupils this shape. In some people's minds, this has strengthened their argument that pandas were built in a lab and are some type of genetic experiment monstrosity. Pandas' eyes are prone to cataracts and eye diseases, so they sometimes go blind. But they have very strong senses of smell and hearing. They also see.
Type a 1 in the chat if hold on, if you've peed upside down, type a 1. If you have not peed upside down, type a 2.
Color. As the Smithsonian's National Zoo put it, giant pandas do not exhibit body characteristics that communicate visual signals. They have round and expressive faces. Their tails are stubs and therefore cannot flag signals to other giant pandas. They have no crest or mane to erect, and their ears are not flexible enough to cock forward or flat. Okay, so if these guys are just chilling in foggy bamboo forests all the time, where they can't see well and don't make...
I would just like to point out that there's far more ones down there in the chat than is reasonable.
What do you mean?
Y'all are some weird upside down peeing freaks.
Now you need that clip about the retard.
Look, don't judge me, all right?
I'm judging you.
I don't care.
Who's got the stove on?
Everybody's laughing. I guarantee you that. That's all of that.
Getting judged.
I gotta ask, Flow State, are you like, do you have a magnet for like lunatics?
Yes.
And they have to just eat and poop all day long, then how are there any pandas at all on the planet?
And it only mates one time a year.
I don't have the answer for you how there are pandas on the planet. I don't. But Richard Nixon might. When Nixon was importing some pandas from China to the U.S., that was apparently a big concern of his. He spoke about panda sex ed with a reporter.
I was just talking to Rob Haldeman, who talked to his Chinese hosts, and this question of mating is very interesting. This is a male and a female. The problem, however, with pandas is that they don't know how to mate. The only way they learn how is to watch other pandas mate, you see? And so they're keeping them there a little while, these are younger ones, to sort of learn, how it's done. Now, if they don't learn it, they'll get over here, nothing will happen. So I just thought you should have your best reporter out there to see whether these pandas have learned.
There you have it on tape. Yeah.
That's wild.
What?
Yeah, I remember that from the other. Yeah, I remember that when Nixon was talking about the pandas doing it.
Nixon always had the good stuff for reporters, except when he was in the news. Really bad guy.
I just find it amazing that like if you don't have the urge to mate, but you saw somebody, like pretend you don't have a sex drive and you watch porn, you'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? Yeah.
They're literally genetic cucks.
I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
And I thought Watergate was bad. Once you get past the logistics of panda mating, though, there are more logistics of panda pregnancy. A female panda is only fertile, ready for this, 24 to 36 hours total a year. So that's a tiny window of opportunity. Then if they do get pregnant, the babies are born as gummy bears that have to survive to adulthood. Can I point out the obvious that all this seems to really fly in the face of survival of the fittest as a concept? Seems like it'd be real easy to take one of these babies down. So no pandas should have survived until today. Now, some have claimed that fossil teeth of pandas were unearthed in the past, but these are actually not panda teeth, not even teeth from a direct ancestor, but speculated to be a close relative. There is actually zero hard evidence of pandas ever having existed before the 1800s, for real. You know, a group of pandas is called an embarrassment. Given how absurd they are now, I can see why.
They have fake animals in zoos just to gain popularity, gain money, gain traction.
Okay, this is what this panda mystery has all been building up to. Pandas are used as bargaining chips in an international pay-to-play scheme, and it goes pretty far back. I found CIA documents saying that in the 50s during the Cold War, China was trying to get pandas over to the US, but America said no for a long time. Why? Hilariously, panda importation really would be a threat. I don't think anyone has ever exposed this before, so bear with me. Then I'll get to the biggest question of all, whether pandas are real. Remember that recording of Richard Nixon bringing pandas to the United States? In the early 1970s, it finally happened after Nixon and his wife Pat had dinner with the Chinese premier. And Pat mentioned liking pandas. Well, the Chinese saw an opportunity there and arranged for a couple pandas to be sent to a US zoo. So there was a welcome ceremony and everything for them. And that opened the floodgates for more panda gifts to different countries. But soon the gifts weren't just gifts. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported that China's pandas are not just pandas, they're diplomats.
Can we pause
You're
real
friendly
quick?
to China, you get pandas, you criticize China,
All right, what are you guys thinking? Do you think this guy's running too far with declassified CIA documents? Now talking about pandas as bargaining chips?
How would that be running too far?
Well, it's a legitimate diplomatic strategy China uses.
Oh, you want the cute animals? Oh, but you don't like China? You don't get our cute animals. I mean, it's kind of.
It's the ultimate appeal to emotion.
Yeah.
And they've done it before multiple times. They've taken away pandas for nations critically.
How is it that you can that they retain ownership of pandas? That's wild.
It's specifically in the contracts that if they ask for them back, you have to give them back.
So you mean China owns every panda on Earth?
Yeah, they're only found in China.
And nobody's been able to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna artificially inseminate this panda.
Artificial insemination doesn't take.
It was like
It would if it was that 72-hour period.
But it was like a point of pride, like a pandas, like if they only exist, like I live in the Southwest, and so I'm in the only region in the world with the saguaro cactus, right? Like so cool, so majestic. So like, I don't know.
Nobody's
like
ever heard
it
of
seems
that kind
like
of
China
cactus.
could just be fucking around a bit.
Or they could be inventing a fake animal.
Yes.
For the
Where
clout.
was Fauci in the late 1880s, and how can we blame
Probably
him?
somewhere in the
Well,
flag
besides
bird.
that, the men who stare at goats was a real thing because they thought the Russians had psychic powers. So the U.S. government put billions of dollars into trying to make people be able to blow goats' heads up with their brain.
Not only that, they did that because another department of the CIA put false information out to Russia.
Yes,
that we had.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's even worse.
I did touch a jumping cholla when we were in Arizona. That was terrible. If anybody's familiar with those things.
Yeah, those are so choyas are weird because like if you're a jogger or biker or some shit, like they lose these little bulbs and they're so light, like they weigh like fucking 20 grams or something. So they just blow in the wind. And if you're like next to it, it almost like has it like it seems like there's like a magnetism, but they've got these like really brutal barbs in them. They're bad, and you can easily miss them like on hiking trails and stuff. They grow they grow really fast. So like Arizona's no joke. It's dangerous out here.
Federal offense if you crash into them or even like fall into them.
You know what Arizona also has? Graboids.
Jackalopes?
Graboids. You don't know what graboids are?
Is that like a jumping cholla?
You don't know what graboids are? And you live in Arizona?
I don't live in Arizona.
Are we talking about
I've never heard of
Tremors? Are you talking about Tremors, bruh?
Okay, so these are
Man,
jumping
those are my
choyas.
favorite movies.
These are jumping choyas, and it's like little cactus things that they're called jumping because you can't touch them at all, or they'll like attach to you. And they've got little hooked. It's like a fish hook barb on the end. And I thought, this is bullshit. Surely I can touch one and it won't stick in me. And I was wrong. It stuck in my finger the minute I touched it. And then I tried to get it off with the other one, with the other hand. And it attached to both hands. And so I'm like this.
Better or worse than Lady Katie's heels?
I don't know what you're. That's
an Arizona finger trap.
I was with my family and I like looked at my mom and I was like kind of panicking because like I'm stuck in both hands. I was like, I'm going home, and I just like turned around and started walking off. So I don't remember how I got off. Like you had to use like a water bottle and a few things to kind of like pull it off, and it was unpleasant. Don't touch them.
Flo, that is a metaphor for your belief in God. You know, fuck this. This is bullshit.
I mean, that's basically symbolic of how my entire life has been. Like, oh, don't touch this thing. Oh, bullshit. I'll touch it. I shouldn't have touched it.
Yeah, you are so much like my husband. It's hilarious.
Well, not that curious nature is necessary for humanity, bro. People that think like that. Are the reason
All I
we
hear
have
is you
the
don't
health
tell
we
me.
have.
It
There's,
wasn't
like,
defined.
cacti
I mean, I
fruit
guess
too, though. But jumping choya is not, as far as I'm aware, is a flowering cacti. I don't know if it, but like even the fruits have like even Arizona fruit has freaking spikes on it, like whatever they are, barbs.
All right, let's continue with panda.
You get no pandas. Ever wondered why they've withdrawn pandas from Western countries' zoos for many years recently? There's a name for this: panda diplomacy. Vox had an article that explained how pandas are actually just rented out to countries for $1 million apiece, and that if the U.S. government does something that displeases the Chinese government, the pandas on loan, plus any babies they've had, could be taken away. This has even happened. One example is when the CCP warned President Obama not to meet with the Dalai Lama, which he did anyway. Just a few days later, a panda in the U.S. named Tai Shan was
And Snow, you'll never believe what happened when I thought I just touched it. No problem, it wouldn't get in. And then when I saw it was stuck in me, I was like,
oh, it gets deep. It gets so deep.
You ain't shit for
repatriated to China in retaliation.
The majority of pandas you see in zoos are just fake. They're animatronics, they're puppets, they're people in fursuits.
Did you know that pandas aren't real isn't the only bear conspiracy theory to hit China lately? In 2023, there were an embarrassing number of articles claiming that zoos in China were putting men in bear suits rather than showcasing real bears. Now, some of these are certainly not true. They are bears. But given how many other times communist countries have been caught lying and how mysterious they are over their pandas, could it be true that there's more to the panda story? Some claim that a panda skull was buried with an empress in the Tang Dynasty. Some say that different ancient or mythical creatures like the Mo, the Zhou Yu, or the Qi Lin were actually pandas. But when it comes down to it, none of the descriptions match up well with the panda as we know it. Some of you are going to comment and ask me, well, Rob, what do you think? Well, guys, pandas are definitely real and are at least not all animatronics. I mean, the CCP can't even build a car that works well. The question is, was the panda bred and created? I don't have an answer to that. I really still don't. Here's why this is also vexing. We have a country that has an extremely long,
pause
in-depth
one more
culture
time,
that
sorry.
connects to animals more than any other.
Okay, so am I being like hyper Greta liberal? Did bro just make like a Chinese cloning sort of innuendo by
No.
by suggesting pandas aren't real there?
no, I don't think so.
No,
He said they could have been bred into existence.
You're just being duck.
No,
I can
but
think of, where seemingly
there's
the
like a
panda
lot of
didn't
Chinese
exist.
history with it though. There's like a history of documented like newspapers calling out China for stuff that they like maybe did, maybe didn't do.
Again, this sounds like a duck edition, not like anything that he was actually doing.
Okay.
until the late 1800s. For a while, it was so perplexing to me that Buddhist meditators weren't referencing this thing when they were referencing things like Yetis in the ancient past. And you're telling me this thing suddenly sprang up in modern history? So there's only two options here. It was bred in a lab sort of setting and just appeared in the late 1800s, or we're dealing with a creature that was special enough it was divinely protected from being known until very recently. I do, however, want to point something out. Some people are like, well, how could this be discovered only in modern times? Well, even last year, an enormous amount of species were being recorded. More are discovered every year. Is it possible that this was just an anomaly at the time? Or is it possible that something as large as the panda really wasn't discovered until then? But what do you think? Are pandas real? Please comment below so we can duke it out in the comments. Also, here's a shout out to my man Ramen Ryder for making this topic go viral in the first place. I got a lot of respect for people looking into weird things, so good for you. If you like this type of content and want more, please.
Somebody's saying Owen Benjamin was the first one to make this theory, but that's not what my non-research has found. So what's the consensus, y'all? Let me see what the chat, or let me see what is that? Our pan is real. The poll says 64% say yes, 36% know the truth.
I want them to be real, and my emotions matter. So,
You know, this reminds me of something that I watched the other day where they were talking about that all the bees are dead. And so the guy's like, I don't know the real numbers, but he said like 80% of the bees died, and that's after 50% died before. So I'm just thinking about math for a second. That seems like it's 10% of the original or something like that. Maybe it's 7. Who knows? I don't believe them. Like, it seems like these people are sensationalists that just go on the internet and go, "Oh, we're all gonna die!" Like every day, on every show, the sky's falling.
Not on Flow State, where I think everything is just fine, and y'all motherfuckers need to stop freaking out.
well,
I agree too. I agree.
I kind of pointed this out to that liberal guy from Sarah's thing. I went to his channel when he was debating that guy, and I was talking to him, and I pointed out like the left is like on an ideological cult, and the right is like a cult of personality, and like the reason that it's kind of appealed to what Tin Man said is like the left, any information you give them, if it goes against their ideology or their belief system, they will just push it out like global warming or the bees, like the bees.
Dude, stop! Find a street corner, bro.
Cool story.
I feel like people just give a little too much credibility to the lack of discovery.
Well, the thing is, if you question it, it's a huge problem. But they don't have any real evidence.
Well, humans are just horrible explorers, and just pretending like we know everything is just stupid.
That's an opinion.
I had that discussion with a guy named Shiva. That's what we call him on the Church of Four.
Yeah, I know.
I've known him for a very long time, and like 6 years. And he does say that quite often, that human beings are very terrible at processing data and figuring things out.
Yeah,
I disagree most times, but yeah.
Are you familiar with the concept of neuroplasticity, where humans are like really good at adapting to tasks in some sense, but like we stop learning like really fast when we're like fucking 18 years old.
That's not true. I've trained my brain because I'm a technician, so you can't just not learn, because you got to learn new languages. Like a year and 2 years ago, I learned introductory Python AI programming. Do you know what I mean? Like, because like if you don't keep up with some of this stuff, you're going to get left behind. So no, dumb people stop learning.
It changes every day. Our knowledge, the knowledge that humanity.
That's
has
what I'm saying. Like I've never stopped. I'm a million times smarter than I was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Capability of learning is just fine. It's just the fact that people believe that we've discovered everything. People really believe that we've discovered all these things, and it's like, no.
I don't think they care.
But we value education. To 10th Man's point, we value education, or people in Canada value education. In the United States, it's only some places we value You know,
I think people are more pragmatic with their education. I mean, at the end of the day, labeling species doesn't matter when something like welding or becoming an engineer does.
I love the poorly educated.
Wasn't for the poorly educated, you wouldn't have farms.
We're breaking Bumpkin.
Just
That's the new-
saying.
That's the new
Farmers are
band we're
not
starting.
poorly educated. That guy can rebuild a John Deere without the manual, bro.
Breaking Benjamin ain't seen shit yet. We're breaking Bumpkin.
You beat me to
Yeah.
it. I was going to say breaking Bumpkin.
Bumpkin's way more handsome than I thought. I was picturing, not that there's anything wrong with Trailer
Can
Park.
you not do what you're doing right now? All right, Cameron.
No,
I like
no.
this guy way more than Bumpkin.
You should have known that was
me
going to happen.
Yeah, it could be me and 10th up here. Instead, it's just me.
Duck, are you
Nah,
gay?
I didn't mean to embarrass you like that.
Duck,
Yes.
Duck, are you gay?
Yes.
I'm a queer heterosexual.
Somebody in chat, please pay Flo to change his name to Blumpkin instead.
I'll change it for you. Wait, no, we want Flo to get money. We want Flo to get money. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to,
I mean, you
we're gonna have
can't
to get
change my name anyways.
Ivory throne installed in Flow Studio.
So, Frank, tell us more about how handsome Bumpkin is.
This is weird, bro.
Well, it appeared that Ed, let me do this. It appeared Bumpkin has shaven in the last 2 or 3 days, and he highlighted his chin line, which was very nice. Eyebrows, I wouldn't be surprised if you did your eyebrows. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's just how it is.
This is how they grow.
My favorite part of this
and-
is what a sucker for flattery Bumpkin is. He's like, all right, it's not that gay if he's complimenting me.
I love it. Do you have a beauty filter on, Blumpkin?
No,
Is that why you look different?
I think the
No,
I
this
think
is
the ladies in
this
chat
way.
need to get in on this though. Bumpkin's a handsome man. That's a
Bumpkin, I
glow up
want you
that
to
doesn't
know I
even
will
need to
never let you
happen.
live this moment down.
Yeah,
Def-
yeah,
the
yeah.
definition.
You know what,
Thank you,
Duck?
Duck. I no
does
longer
nothing.
don't like
Duck,
you.
I think if you just keep pushing on the flattery angle, he might fuck you.
Oh, I'm leaving this stream.
Bumpkin is a
I'm leaving
prolific
this
slut,
stream.
so it might be.
I'm leaving this stream. I'm leaving
A prolific slut.
Bumpkin is a
I'm leaving
prolific
this
slut,
stream,
bro.
bro.
You hit it from the what? You hit it from the back.
See, my
Oh
question
shit!
is, who
See,
would be
Lawrence
the
knows
guy who
what's
would be the
good.
girl? That's the real question.
What was that, Orthodox?
Which one of you would be the guy and which one of you would be the girl? That's the real question.
Why are we entertaining this? What's going on right
It
now?
doesn't matter either way. It's gross.
It's entertaining us.
10th man's my wingman if I ever go up to Nova Scotia though. We'll figure something out. I'm not saying I'm looking or I would be looking.
No, I will never
I
meet
am.
I will never meet anybody off of YouTube ever. I guarantee it. Never gonna fucking happen. I
Here,
already have
Bumpkin,
restraining
here,
orders
Bumpkin.
against
Let's
all of
balance out the gayness a little
Hey,
bit.
let's go.
He
There we
has
go.
nice skin.
Which sounds creepy now that I
Olive
said
oil.
that.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Man, your wife is so funny in chat. Sometimes she'll come at me and I'm like, I'm confused by even what she's
Well, you're kind of always confused.
Bumpkin, are you a panda bear?
No.
What kind of bear would he be classified as? 10th? Would he be a big bear or a cuddly bear?
No, I think he's a panda. He only ovulates 72 hours a year.
Yeah, Bumpkin, I'm never letting you live this down. This is gonna come up on every stream.
You know, I tried to.
send this-
I try to give homies content. You know, I could have been going to sleep right now because I have to go to.
If you can't put up with the stigma, then don't be a freak.
Somebody
Yeah, I
get
love
this
that
man
guy.
some bamboo.
Oh, true.
That's Kazoom.
I got. Actually, I can't say that. I got something I gotta do in the morning at like
What do you
9
got?
a.m.
What do you got to do in the morning? I do too. I got to finish taking the transmission out.
It is morning.
Shoot.
I gotta go to a courtroom. I got.
Oh, Bumpkin.
Ah.
Child
What'd you do
support.
this time?
Back
No.
child support.
No, I got subpoenaed. No, I got subpoenaed for my job.
You got peed on?
Mm.
Nice.
Upside
Have you
down.
ever seen an inmate pee upside down?
I've never witnessed that. No. Be honest.
Have you
with
ever
that's
seen an
wild.
inmate do what my buddy did, where he took his pants all the way off in jail and then threw his hands up and started spinning around in circles while peeing?
I have seen that happen in the middle of a
Yard sprinkler.
middle of a holding cell. Middle of a holding cell.
It was in booking. He did it in booking. Yep. He was mad that he was under arrest, and he just
Yep. Just started spraying the room.
Yep.
So you guys know they give
That's
you the
extra
same
charges,
food.
right?
They give you
I
the
don't
same
know.
food in medical
Well-
that they do in population. Don't do it.
he was in his. I think he was alone in the holding cell, so it didn't hit anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't care. That should
But he
still
didn't
be
have
extra charges. That's
He didn't
Yeah,
double-
yeah, that's wrong.
His poor Sally, if that was the case.
Bloodborne pathogens. Get you every
Bloodborne
time.
pathogens. Oh, that's
Bumpkin,
the worst.
what's
That's like
the
worst
what's the
fear.
weirdest non-breaking of POS thing you've seen at your job?
That thought. Exactly what you just thought. That's the one we want.
Yes, good catch, David.
Yeah, but say it in non-TOS ways.
Yeah, how do I say? I mean, I don't really know, man. I watched
You
was-
watched. Interesting choice of words. You didn't just see it. You watched it.
Well,
You let it happen.
No, I
You
mean,
let nature take its
He
course.
couldn't turn away.
I mean, for one, I hate paperwork. Secondly, I didn't watch. Obviously, I saw. It was very quick. I was walking through for a round. That's what they call it, because you walk through, check every cell.
Did you stop for just a
make sure no
second?
one's hanging. You know what? I did take a double take because I saw two male inmates move very fast, right? And I had to take a double take. I was like, what the hell was that? And then they're laying down their beds, but I'm pretty sure something might have been going on.
Boring. No, we want to know what you actually saw, not what you might have saw.
I mean, I really haven't seen anything crazy. I mean, I saw someone make a shit cocktail.
This is on the level of human trafficking porn.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
Shit
gonna lie.
I watched
I don't
another
know.
CEO get hit with a shit cocktail. That was crazy.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
extra
what?
charges.
Oh, what?
Yeah, definitely.
Shit
A shit
cocktail.
cocktail. Yeah, it's shit, piss, and whatever else comes out of the body thrown into like a cup, and then they throw it at COs or other inmates.
Did he?
No proof that. Pull up the proof of me putting hands. Last time I checked, I put dick on a bitch. Unless you can show me otherwise. Show me that I put hands on a bitch outside of my dick.
Were they alive?
Miss Jenny with the were they alive?
Were they alive? Yeah, so funny.
Nah.
Shout out to Ginny. But yeah,
Shout
I
out
watched
to Frick
that happen.
Monday.
I watched that happen. That was really gross.
Have you ever found a Damascus steel shank?
Nope. Why?
Okay, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Metallurgy, San
Prison.
Quentin edition.
Prison metallurgy.
79068, sir.
Yeah, if we're finding Damascus shivs, we got a fucking bigger problem.
Yeah. So, have you heard my root chakra story?
I have not.
Okay, so when I was in jail, my mom sent a lot of books, and one of them was like a little book about chakras, right? And so apparently you can
Wait,
awaken your-
Dusty. Sorry. Clip it. I gotta bounce. My cell phone's gonna die. I know it's really rude form on panel. Thank you so much for having me on. I want to hear this at some point. So take care. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so apparently with your chakras, you can do like something to awaken them. I don't recall what awakening means, but I had never awakened my chakras. And you're supposed to start from the root chakra, the lowest one, and then work your way up. So I waited until it was about 3 in the morning or 4 in the, whatever time it was when like the other people were most likely to be asleep and stay asleep. So I waited till then, looked like everyone was asleep, went over to the far corner away from the bunk area and right in front of the bean hole. And the way that you awaken your root chakra is you put your hands on your hips and you do this, and then you go. So you swivel 60 times one direction and 60 times the other direction. It doesn't say what happens if you partially awaken your chakra. So I didn't want to do that. So I started awakening my chakra, Right then, the guard does his rounds. He opens the beanhole. I'm standing right in front of the beanhole. I'm looking at it. We make eye contact. I continue to swivel my hips the whole time. And we hold it for like, it was like the longest 3 seconds of my life. He's just looking at me and I'm just swiveling my hips and not saying anything. And then he just shuts it and goes on. So I finished awakening my root chakra, but then left all of the other ones unawakened. What?
So you were just bringing around town, making eye contact with a prison guard.
He never said anything about it at all. It was never mentioned.
You know what?
You're that guy's weird story. He's like, bro, this dude was humping the air.
Bro, and as someone that is on the other side of that perspective, I understand. I would also never mention I saw that ever.
He probably never mind.
I mean, like, there's just no way for me to explain it, really.
Yeah. Bro, you should have just looked him up.
Because I could say, hey, I'm just awakening my chakras, but that brings up more questions than answers.
This is why we need cameras.
It actually makes it sound like you're not waking up your chakras, that you're doing something else creepier.
I'm awakening my chakras. I'm awakening my chakras for a great escape.
So yeah, we just made eye contact for a long time, and then he left.
Do you think you've been led around by your root chakra now since? Do you think that's...
I've been led around by my root chakra since. What's the next one above it? I don't know. I don't even really think chakras are a real thing. I think they might be metaphorically something, but I don't think like they're... I don't think that swiveling your hips 60 times in each direction does anything.
Well,
I'm superstitious enough that I wasn't gonna stop swiveling my hips for this motherfucker.
Just to be safe.
You got a better backswing now, probably, huh?
Well,
did you come out of jail a different person?
I thought you was gonna ask a totally different question.
No, I don't think I really did.
What was your question, Orthodox? What did you think I was going to say?
I just heard the first part of that. I just heard the first part of that. I was like, whoa, pause.
Did you come out of the what?
Oh, you know what? I could even show you what I've got. One of the videos that got security videos from the jail. I can show you which guard it was.
What if you gave that man PTSD? He's like 1,000 yards staring at.
They already got it.
His imagination of what you were doing was probably far worse.
Do you have the video on your computer?
I've got it somewhere on YouTube. Hold on, give me a second. I'll find it.
Ever catch a guy using a wet nap?
What's that?
Like a wet wipe?
No, we don't have those there in jail.
Well, you could just wet down the
hit it in the sink.
It's nice every once in a while to have a little warm wet wipe, and all that peanut butter.
I looked up the rest of the chakras if you're interested.
Okay.
There might be legitimate medical stuff to doing that, like as far as the exercises go.
Yeah, I think it's like a meditation. Like it's a form of prayer, but it's focused on self. Root chakra, sacral chakra, SACRAL.
That's like your sternum area, I think.
It's right. Let's see, and then solar plexus, which is kind of the heart,
here.
The throat, the third eye, and the crown. The third eye and the crowns just had my interest more than the rest of them, but I'm trying to tie that in with. I don't know. I just feel like it's a form of prayer.
Oh, taser.
So it's not the sheriff with the taser, it's the other one that's walking around.
I see trying to taser this guy.
That guy right there. That's the one who looked me in the eyes while my root chakra awakened.
Scarred for life.
What is this interrogation we're watching?
So this is a video that got the guy sitting down, his lawyer was able to get this out eventually. This was about I think this was my first night in general population. So this would have been my 4th night in jail or something. After my first raid, and yeah, well, I'll just play it.
Does he actually end up popping him? That's the question. There's no reason to pop him. Oh.
If the lawyer looked it up, I bet he popped it.
Or moo, fucker. You
Yeah, right in the sack.
Oh,
he just had his root chakra.
I'm jealous.
I
Awakened.
feel like I've seen this.
Boy, that looks fun as hell.
My root chakra. My root chakra.
Don't tase me, bro. That's terrible. What the hell? There's something wrong with that dude.
Yo.
And there's something wrong with the other guy too.
So I have this muted, but there's no audio. They said that the audio on the cameras malfunctioned. All the cameras, the audio malfunctioned, so there's no audio with it.
Of course.
And I was asleep. I woke up when they threw this dude in the cell, and he was having seizures. So they zapped him a lot more times before they threw him in, and he's having seizures, right? And he's just bouncing around.
So did they get jail time?
No, neither of them. The guy, the sheriff's deputy, eventually got fired for something else. I think he actually killed somebody. He was a bad deal in a lot of ways, but he just moved a county down. He moved to the next county over.
Of course he did.
But the promotion too. Yeah.
You really need to get rid of qualified immunity.
Did you ever have to tase anybody, Blumpkin?
I'm not taser certified. I don't like
Yeah.
tasers.
The guy with the taser is actually a deputy. The guy bending over right now with his ass to us, that's the correctional officer.
Tasers ain't that bad, Blumpkin. You should do it.
Nah, I don't
See
like
how he's
that.
talking shit to him right there, right at the end, and that's where the video cuts off, right? Like,
of course.
See, watch this. Talking shit. You're about to get it, boy. And then that's all the video that they released.
Cops be like, why do people hate us?
Yeah. How convenient.
Yeah.
So
I
how
used
that
to play
works,
with
by the way,
tasers.
since one is a correctional officer, one is a deputy sheriff, the correctional officer's pretty much hands are just straight up tied right there, which is really shitty. But especially, was it a county jail too?
But where's the man standing
What's that?
up?
That was a county jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But where's the man that stands up against it?
I don't
Debating
know.
on YouTube.
Yeah, debating on YouTube.
Truth.
Where were you, Brick? You could have been there for him.
Brick, where the hell were you, dude?
Why are you still talking to him? Why are you still talking? Stop talking to him.
I mean, it does take a certain type. I just don't do the chains and cages thing.
Nope. I mean, well, first off, it depends on what context, but nobody does the chains
Shut
and
up,
cages
dude.
It can be fun.
Tired of this, bro. Tired of this, bro.
Can be fun.
No, I do trust that Bumpkin does his job right because I've heard him.
You don't know Bumpkin.
No, he's. I mean, look, I get it. There's
Well,
bad
them,
guys.
them felons be getting up and bumping. Be like, all right, man. I'm gonna tell you like 2 more times. You
Nah,
keep
he's-
on, you're going against the bars.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, calm, collected.
Seems like he's got a heart.
Stupid shit.
I got a heart. I'm cool, calm, and collected. But as soon as I reach that point, it's just
all
it's-
you got to do when Bumpkin's reaching that point as an inmate, all you got to do is compliment his skin, his jawline.
no.
Call him a panda
Bumpkin,
bear.
you're looking really nice today. You're
stud muffin.
I'm gonna be real with you, man. That just took me completely off guard when he said that shit, bro. I was like, "What is going on?"
Name some bamboo.
I swear to God, my favorite part of the whole stream is how like you were creeped out and you calmed down, and then when he started complimenting you, you eventually
I'm about to
back
cam
up
down
pretty
again,
quick,
bro.
No,
I'm about to cam down again.
Pumpkin, I want you to understand. I'm clipping that part.
I hate you. I hate both of you. I hate both of you.
I want you to understand this.
Oh yeah, you got clean eyebrows.
Yeah, they just grow like this, bro.
Bro, he had major like anger vibes at me today. Duck did on the other stream.
Oh, ALC.
No, Duck.
Oh, Duck did.
Yeah, when I
Duck-
went on that liberal stream, like he was calling me
Oh.
like, "Hey,
I can't read duck. I can read most people. I cannot read duck.
Well, that John dude thinks that he's manipulative or da da da. You should go and watch that liberal stream.
What
That
liberal
guy
stream?
The liberal guy who was on Raging Tomatoes. He did a stream afterwards. You should go watch it. It was actually
Oh, you're talking about what's his name?
Coder.
Brian.
Coder.
Yeah.
Huh?
How many panels are you on at once?
me.
Mm-hmm.
I went on Sarah's, and then I went over there, and then I came over here.
I guess I did stream for quite a while before I opened the panel, didn't I?
Yeah, you were debating that guy the whole time I was over there.
Yeah, I was
I was
stab
gonna
my
come over
ears up
here.
with pens.
Oh,
During the first part with ALC, I literally wanted to stab my ears out with pens. I just like this guy can't be serious.
It's so frustrating to see people come up here and try to represent Christianity and then call people names and shit. Like, no, you're,
do
you're
the most
free.
evil things they can do without being like a full blown evil bad person. Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing, Miss Flo.
That's not leading nobody towards Jesus at all. If you're gonna live, that's what Christianity is you gotta, and I know, it can't happen, but you gotta you gotta walk that walk. It's not about words, and then if you use words to just fling mud or something, you're a piece of shit.
Well, that's
And
why you're
that's me
supposed to
using-
be meek. My
Yes.
apologies. I mean, to interrupt.
Yes,
Meek
you're
is
right. I see.
teachable, right? So, you got to be able to be willing to be at peace and accept some type of
No,
criticism.
It's not necessarily malleable. It's you're humble. You humble yourself before your fellow man.
Humility.
Yes.
Humility. Yeah, humility. Yeah.
Yep.
And like
Yes.
that, when you're not humble and you're not willing to at least talk to somebody, even if you disagree with them, and without insulting them and hear them out, then it causes a lot of problems.
First John
Interesting.
4:20.
That's one of the reasons why I come here.
If you want to know what Zeus said to Narcissus, you better watch yourself.
And with that said, I am gonna quit while I'm ahead. Good stuff, Flo.
Why do you think you're ahead?
Getting a little.
All right, thanks for joining. Take it easy and have an excellent night.
Take it easy, Brick.
Somebody should have fucking paid to have him kicked earlier. By the way, I don't know what the fuck anybody's thinking.
I wanted to say that.
I've been
but at
waiting
the same
for it.
Time, I didn't.
I've been waiting for it.
I appreciate
else?
you waiting.
Begging. All right.
Who were you hoping they would kick? ALC earlier?
Brick. No, when it was just me and ALC, he would have been kickable, but Brick should have been kicked.
I mean,
Missed opportunities.
he wasn't saying that crazy shit. So
Brick's turned over a new leaf recently.
It's just funny to mess with Brick.
Bamboo
I
leaf.
think it's really spurky.
oh yeah.
What happened is the demon came out of Brick and went into Rizla.
Wait, what happened to Rizla?
Tesla.
Last little while, he's been a little off. I'm not even making a joke. It's like the demon came out of Brick and went into Rizla.
Well,
It works like that too.
I
does
like
work
Rizla.
like that.
I kind of understand what Flo. Well, I don't really. I kind of get where Flo was coming from when he asked him like, "What you want to do with your channel and stuff," because I've talked to him a lot about it, but we don't have to talk about that here.
Well, go on.
Well, I mean, he says, I want this to be a deep conversation. I don't want to take bounties, but then he takes bounties, and then he allows people to spurg out about it, and then he has like an 8,000-year conversation about how bad it is to take bounties and how it destroys the conversation, and then he comes at me in the chat in the comment section of the video is like, well, I do what I want to do. It's like, bro, I've never told you how to run your channel. I've always been like, hey, do what you want to do. Don't listen to these other people. So I can't ever put my finger on what he wants to do. Does he want the bounties and thinks he won't get them? Because he'll definitely get them. Like I don't get it.
I think he just wants everything, right? Like he wants people to be happy, but he also wants the bounties. That's what it looks like. I guess I haven't paid that much attention to it, but
I paid too much attention. And what I would say is, I love you, Rizzle. I do. I try not to come at you too much, but you're quite the good target. He obviously has a very serious drinking problem. Like he'll like. There's times where it's been like early in the day, like before lunchtime, and he's already tied a good one on. Like I don't think he's ever been live in the last couple weeks, at least, that he hasn't already had a few drinks. Like, so, yeah.
Well,
And that's coming from an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic, right? Like I came here blacked out drunk the other day, but I hadn't drunk in 4 months because I try not to drink too much because I know I'm an alcoholic.
Doesn't sound like it.
I don't know, because like I've talked to him, and like the very first time I met him, it was the John Locksmith dude or whatever in Brick, and they had like a 6-hour conversation about bounties, and Brick was like, well, bounties take away from the conversation basically because I'm always the one that gets bounty to take down. And that John guy was like, well, make your money, and I listened to them for 4 hours, and going back and forth trying to tell Rizzle how to run his channel. And I basically joined in. I was like, Rizzle, it doesn't matter. Like, what do you want to do with your channel? What is the type of content you're trying to make? And like, I tried to talk to him about how to make money off of it, and he seemed to be resentful about it and put me in the same.
I think I was there that day, wasn't I?
You were there for a large part of it. Yes.
Yeah. And I suggested that he do it, and I regret it now because it seems to have made him more.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm kind of hinting at. He seems to be resentful at me and you, and not at Brick and the other person that's actually been trying to tell him how to run his channel.
Listen, I was trying to help him because his mic was all messed up. He was saying that he didn't have money to fix it. I suggested that he just do that temporarily, is what I did, just to get his technical stuff worked out. Right? So I don't know. I haven't been there since just after that because it got weird.
I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you can see the comments on a couple of his videos. I think it's specifically the one where he actually added me and Snowman and Brick, and like he kind of basically is insinuating that I'm telling him what to do, and I'm like, bro, no. I said the same thing since day one that Flo told him. It's your channel, and that's what matters. You do what you want to do, and you run it how you want to run it.
It's the old two masters situation, right? You can't have two masters. Conflict of interest. Yeah, and the bounty thing isn't new. That's the stupid thing, is like there's no reason that Brick's complaints should have been respected at all.
Well, and that's all it is. And Brick literally told him like a month or two ago when I first met him, and I was back there after the first show I went on. Brick literally told him that he wouldn't come around for the longest if he took bounties at all. That he just wouldn't come in. So,
yeah,
because he's the one that got. Yeah.
I mean, that's bullshit, because Brick goes lots of places where there's bounties. He comes here where there's bounties, and when he gets dropped, he waits backstage. It's not a big deal. Because he knows that it won't matter to me if he complains.
Yeah.
Is that Fatty in the chat? Different Fatty in the chat?
That's Team Fatty in the chat.
That's Team Fatty in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Team Fatty, am I allowed on your show yet?
Why wasn't you allowed on a show?
I said the N-word.
Well, there's context. There's context to that.
Was that a Friday?
No, I wasn't paid for it the second time I accidentally said it.
It was accident, or it was like Angry Bumpkin?
It was a complete accident. It wasn't even said out of anger. It was said with the soft A. It was like I was spending way too much time on Fight Club. Let's just say that.
I saw 007 in someone else's chat. I was in Finkel's chat earlier. He was in Finkel's chat at the beginning of Finkel's or Muckster's hit piece. Taken up for me. My dog.
I don't get why people hate you. I really don't.
Intimidated.
If they were
Jealous.
intimidated, they wouldn't be talking so much shit. They'd be trying to avoid him.
He's seeing chat there, Bumpkin. He's saying no one banned you. You just decided not to show up anymore. You good?
And you know what? That's this. I believe that shit because you thought I didn't like you for a long time or something.
Well, he legitimately said you're not. Well, you're
Which
not
was
allowed.
never true. So
You never said that. I just assumed you didn't like me because every time you jump up on any panel we were ever on, you wanted to debate me, and I'm just like, I'm just not having it, bro.
I
That
go
panel
after people.
last weekend,
Especially on Chaotic Truth, which is where I think we tend to cross.
Well, yeah,
Same-
because
that was the same thing for me as well.
okay, honestly though,
What, you thought I didn't like you too, Orthodox guy?
Yeah, that's why I didn't cut. That's why I didn't come up to your stream. for a
I
long
don't
time.
like you, and you just don't get it.
Tragic.
tragic,
It's tragic.
tragic.
You know how I know you like me. That's how male friends or male acquaintances.
Because of that shit.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that's why I've been coming back. You got to be nice to me if you want me to go away. Much.
Yeah, if you were any nicer to me, I probably wouldn't come here because I'd feel like kind of weird.
Why does that make you feel weird, Tin
why do
Man?
we got to talk about cum all the
Because I like to keep people.
Tin
at
Man,
arm's
I
length.
want you to feel like you're welcomed and cherished.
Yeah.
I realize my big problem with everyone is the loud ass mic, and they tend to get excited and yell.
You do get excited and you put your microphone in your mouth, but you seem to have gotten better about that.
Well, I realize that I have a mic that, like, because I'm talking on a gaming headset. I realize if I just put it like 3 inches to the left, it doesn't have that problem.
That's what she said.
Well, are we actually seeing what David looks like? He's way younger looking than I thought.
Hold on. I'm Judo Fly in chat. If you hadn't figured it out.
I have.
Oh, you're
and
not.
I was wondering how you are able to, like, when you're not even in StreamYard, you're able to comment on both accounts at once. The same thing. No, I get it.
Yeah.
What, you got 2 phones or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
2 phones.
I got 2.
Last time I had 2 phones, I got raided. I'm just saying.
you gotta get 2. You gotta get 2 secure phones, Flo. That's
Only
the
2?
trick.
Look, no, actually, they seized like 20 phones from the house because I used to give my old cell phones to my daughter just as toys. They took all that shit. They took all the old phones. There was like 20 phones they left with.
I got a question. Like, how did you get found out? Did someone snitch on you? Are you allowed to talk about that, or do you want to talk?
I am
about it?
allowed to talk about it. So, my search warrant affidavit started 3.5 years before they actually raided me. They had 2 witnesses. One of them, the first one, 3.5 years earlier, he had been snitching in jail about somebody else, but my name surfaced just kind of in passing. Really, like it wasn't even hardly about me. Just I was mentioned, and then the last time, the night before, was it the night before? Anyways, right before I got raided, they had another guy come in. I've never met this guy in my life, but he was mad at his wife because she was out being a sackho places, and he mentioned everybody he could think of. My name came up, and so those were the 2 snitches. They had some other shit in there, fake trash pulls, bullshit like that. But
I found out that I was having problems because my brother, like, he got arrested and ran, and I got arrested for harboring a fugitive, and he was gone for like 3 or 4 months. So I took them all. I took them all around the neighborhood. I was like, maybe he's there. I was just taking him to the crack dens. So I found out that.
So say that again. What happened?
So my little brother, before he turned 18, he committed a felony, right?
Uh-huh.
And like the cops don't like me around here for reasons I won't get into, but so
We'll get into him.
I was being mainly I was being a smartass, so they couldn't find him, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen my brother for 3 days, and they kept asking me a question, and I was just having different variations of, yeah, but I haven't seen him in 3 days. And they're like, well, if you don't tell us where he is, it's gonna be very serious for you and your family. I'm like, Man, that's very, very cool and a nice story, but I haven't seen him in 3 days. And like they were getting more and more angry. And basically it went on for like 2 weeks of them harassing me and pulling me over. And apparently he had come by my aunt's to get some weed and his cell phone charger, and he hasn't been at the house at this point for like a month. Right? And I call my aunt, like these cops just came down looking for my little brother, and like they forced their way into the house. I'm angry. I'm venting to my aunt, and they took that as me warning my aunt because he was at my aunt's. And then they's like, well, if we can find him, y'all won't go to jail. And I'm just like, all right, but I just took them to every high crime area in my neighborhood that I could find, like every drug, and I wasted so much of their time.
They love wasting time. They wasted 3.5 years on my shit.
How far
So
into that did you know they was looking at you?
So I believe, I don't know this 1,000% for sure, but I do believe that the thing that started the sheriffs off at me was because I know that about the same time that they started their investigation for the search warrant, the ATF had been in town and had asked about me. Now, this is a whole different thing. The ATF was following, there had been a burglary with, and a bunch of guns were stolen. They had tracked down all of the guns except for one. The ATF came to town, was asking people, because somebody who was in jail, when he got out, he told me about that. ATF packed up, never left town without ever talking to me. They never talked to me at all. I believe that incident is what put me on the police radar in the first place. Even though they did not include that in the affidavit. But I can't.
All it takes to get put on the police radar is some dopehead getting arrested and like your number being in their phone or them asking you for weed. And
One time,
I was just going to answer the question real quick. I knew that they were pulling my trash. I mean, because they had been pulling my trash for at least 6 months before they came in.
Yeah,
possibly 9.
So one time, I used to work. This is my summation because I don't know. I used to work for a demolition company, and then somehow years later, the police call me and say that somebody dropped off a stolen load of scrap metal and gave my phone number. And I'm like, what? So I went directly from a physiotherapy appointment directly down there because I didn't believe them. And they showed my name written down on this receipt. And like I always worried about stuff like that, right? And then all of a sudden, oh, they're coming to your house.
Well, I don't know. Most of those places have
cameras.
I knew that they were.
This is 2008 or something.
I knew that they were pulling the trash before the first raid. Yes, I did. I never threw anything away in the trash.
I've come to hate law enforcement, just outright hate them, and just out dealing with the stuff with my little brother because like they violated my rights by coming to my house 3 different times, and then when I was in jail, they came to my house and like broke my gun cabinet and like went through my gun.
Sheriff.
So, Frank
Sheriff.
Monday, I believe this is. I think that you're right here, and this is why a part of the reason I believe that it was about the guns, because when they raided me the first time, they seized 36 guns, I believe, and a 1/4 ounce of dope, and so my biggest charge was, what the fuck is that, fatty? It was possession with intent to distribute. Which they had me with that immediately, but they waited until the very last minute to give me my charges. They waited 3 days. I was in booking for 3 days while they didn't give me charges. And I think what they were doing was tracing down all the guns, and then they found out that none of them were stolen. So, but yeah, that's let's see. Yeah, Katie. I'm not going to say what I was about to say, but Katie, I did know that they were pulling trash. They were pulling my trash.
I don't get why the body autonomy stuff like drugs is illegal. Like I don't get it.
Repeat customers.
That's got to be the only thing. Because they like if they wanted to win the war on drugs, they could have.
They did not seem to know that there were anybody in the house except for me. My name is the only one on the warrant. They seemed fairly confused, but yeah, there were kids there.
Well, does anybody here remember? Does anybody here remember why opium became illegal?
No.
All I know is the world cried when cocaine became illegal.
Was one of the first trade wars with China, because just what he just said, they had control of the coca, but they didn't have control of the opium.
I know I cried when that bitch Michelle Obama decided to
She took your pizza.
Took my
Big Mike
pizza, bro. And my
Took away your
second
spoon.
Pop-Tart. Yeah, here's a pack of Pop-Tarts. You only get one, by the way, in this normally 2 packs of Pop-Tarts.
Whenever liberals ask what radicalized me, Michelle Obama messed with school lunches.
Yeah, bro. I was so mad. I'm still angry about it.
Only 2 cheese yummies, not 4.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Ridiculous.
That's the thing.
Took chocolate milk
Most people
away.
pay for their
Took chocolate milk away.
I'm so glad I got out of school before Obama's second term.
That's almost satanic.
Yeah, I think it is.
That really is. That to take chocolate milk, there's not any worse abridgment than rights. In all honesty,
That's the only milk I drunk at school.
Kids.
one of my fondest memories was my grandfather bringing me home chocolate milk.
Taurus 38, what's up?
All I'm saying is Trumu is the GOAT.
Savage, what was it? Savage. Oh, nothing. I got busted on Good Friday, bro. I was sick as fuck. And I knew I was being fucking stalked. I knew they were going through my shit. About a week prior, I came home, went down into the grow room. The door was kicked in and 3 plants were missing. And started looking around, and there was a fucking slug in the doorknob. Wasn't even locked.
Less than 2 years ago, I think it was, Joe Cool got pulled over, and they got him for all this nonsense. And the girl he was with has a medical marijuana card, and they got him for a bunch of nonsense and fines and stuff, but the weed was never put into evidence or anything.
They just took that and put it back on the street. Set somebody.
Brother,
Just saying.
have y'all ever lived in a county that charged you for internal possession?
No. Is that in your
bro,
system? In the deep pocket?
In Oklahoma, they'll drug test you when you get arrested, and they'll charge you with internal possession in Comanche County.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, they'll drug test you.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
And if you pop, they'll charge you with internal possession.
I think that's only if you go to prison and you're on it, though, not just county jail, though. I don't know about that.
My pop lived in Comanche County. He was arrested. They drug tested him, and he got a minor charge for it, for internal possession. So did the woman he was
cousins
with.
down in Hobart went through the same shit.
Some counties will charge you with internal possession. Like the county next to me, where I live in Georgia, they do internal possession as well.
Down around southern Oklahoma too, south of Norman, Chickasha counties.
Oklahoma is the single most evil state in the union. I hate Oklahoma.
I believe that. Yeah, I used to live just a bit north of Oklahoma, and yes, I believe that.
Now, though.
Have you seen the? Have you noticed how they still have the fucking toll roads 80,000 years after they were supposed to go away?
Well, we tried not to ever get on there.
Yeah, I still owe a couple of tolls from years ago. Actually,
Why are you putting a toll road in Oklahoma? Are you trying to keep people away? Like, what's going on?
But the entire major interstate running through it, north to south, is nothing but a toll road.
Oh my god!
From Oklahoma City all the way to Wichita, like all the way to the Texas border, is nothing but a toll road.
Oh, that's
yeah, I
why
got
they did it.
fucking Tulsa right in there too somewhere.
All right, we've only got a little bit left on the stream, but I did accidentally scroll a little bit too far under that document, further than I wanted to. Show a little bit more information. It's not a full docs, but everybody's getting redirected to the new stream that I just started, and you on stage. I'll put the link in the back.
What's the new show about?